Boys, you know what time it is. It's by David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, and we are bringing you Match Day live as Tottenham travel to the San Siro to take on AC Milan in the last 16 of the Champions League, while Arsenal fans are sitting at home watching Emmerdale Omnibus with their girlfriends tonight. Absolutely pumped for tonight. Tottenham are at their best when all the odds are stacked against us. To get us through and build us up to this game, we have the one and only Jack Kinnicky. How are you, sir?
Keeping well, Dave. I must admit, actually, and not even something to admit, I might actually have the best missus in the world, Dave. Today, she turns out to have night classes. You know, she's getting, that master's degree, and she won't even be home by like 10 p.m. tonight, basically. So, Valentine's Day has been moved to tomorrow. It's honestly a terrific day for me. I get to focus on my one true love of Spurs, focus on my other love the next day, Dave. Got the best missus in the world today.
Absolutely love that. Preoccupying herself, knowing that the priorities is the AC Milan game. I actually gave my missus a Harry Kane mask for Valentine's Day. She was very, very happy with it. We've got, of course, Phil joining us before he gets to work today. Phil, how are you keeping, brother?
Yeah, can't complain, Dave. Can't complain about Tottenham at the minute, but yeah, all good. It's my birthday next Monday, so I'm hoping they deliver 2 good results for me leading up to it, man.
Be sure, rest assured to tune into the fan show for 5 or 10 minutes on Monday, and we'll get you a big happy birthday from everybody in the chat. Absolutely love that. And of course, we have the one and only box office, always with a smile on his face. Alex, how are you, my man?
Yo, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's a bit of a calm professor of entertainment and truth, just relaxing, just seeing what the storm's going to bring today. But yeah, let's get straight into it, isn't it? Let's just get straight into it.
Exactly. Look, we've a lot to discuss today. We're going to discuss a bit on Antonio Conte and then, of course, get into other matters. But before we do, I want to welcome some people in the chat. Let's see who's joining us on this Valentine's Day. Let's see who's going to be single tomorrow. We've got Faz Radfar. Says, big up, lads. Hope you were well. I think AC Milan has a tougher task to prepare against us tonight, as there are no video to analyse Skip and Sarr in our team. So confusing. Come on, you Spurs. 3-1. Absolutely love that, Faz. Good to see you in the building. We've got Tottenham Hotspur this afternoon. All. Anyone else think we're going to get smashed? Not sure what to think after the Leicester game. Lol. This poor. Look, piss poor. But do you know what? Like I said at the start, Tottenham are at their best when everything's against us. All the odds are stacked against us. Last season, we had 13 fit players and still made a good run at top 4 and ended up getting top 4 as well. So why can't we turn our form around and go and win in Milan tonight? We've got Daniela Zito says, Dave, I think Richarlison should start over Son. Look, I do have a question about that a bit later on. Interesting thought. Let's see what the panel have to think on it as well in a while. And Alfie Devine on the bench tonight. Look, you might see that. We definitely have short midfielders, so I'd be surprised if you don't. Mick Germalock says, good afternoon, Jack and Dave. Big up, Mick. We've also got Joseph in the building. My man, I hope you're keeping well. Come on, you Spurs. More confident in Sarr and Skip than the clowns, Davies, Dyer, Sanchez, and Tanganga and Forrester. No, I don't blame you. I do not blame you, my man. Plenty to discuss on that back line for sure, my man. William Catucci says, up the Spuds. Presume he's an Arsenal fan. William, what I will say to you is enjoy reenacting that spaghetti scene from, I think it's Lady and the Tramp, because that's what you do on Tuesdays on Valentine's Day, where we're leave it to the big boys to deal with the Champions League. All right, my man? No, it's not for everybody. How long is it since you've been there? By the way, if you could just put that answer in the chat, I'd be grateful. It'll make me smile. Who else have we got? We've got Mia W. says, Cois. Absolutely love that. We've got big up me. I hope you're all keeping well. Full Bull says, big up the Irish Hotspur. 1-0 Dyer goal. Won't say who. Do you know what? I absolutely love this guy. He trolls me all the time, but he loves Eric Dyer for some reason. But you know what? I have good banter with him. Good comment as well. Look, 1-0 could be a Dyer own goal. I hope, hopefully not, my man. We got 164 Spur in the house. Good afternoon, guys. Good to see you. VHFC Time Tunnel says, music's got me bopping again. Look, that's the whole idea of it, feel good music, get everybody pumped up. Actually, Phil, you were treated to some James Blunt performance by myself. Voice of it.
Pretty good, mate. Pretty good.
For anyone that doesn't know, I was sitting there singing Spurs songs, and I don't know how long Phil was there, but I was in a world of my own. I was absolutely loving life. Rowan Cooper says, really need you guys to pump me up today. First time, I'm not really looking forward to a match. Well, do not worry. That's what we are here to do, my man. Tequila 316 says, Dyer hat-trick tonight. You heard it here first. I don't say in who's net, though. Big up, Tequila. Good to see you in the building, my man. We've also got R Green 216 in the building. Afternoon, chaps. Good afternoon, sir. I hope you are keeping well. Foggy Four, my man. Good to see you in the building. He says, big up the Yale Army. Absolutely love that. Who else have we got here? We have Mark Elwood says, props to the missus. Yeah, exactly. Prop to Jack's missus. Yeah. Very nice of her. Very courteous, I would say. PJ says, if you don't know, don't ask me. I don't know.
That's about you don't know, don't ask me. I don't know. That's funny.
Jason Bell says, big up, everyone. Good to see you in the building, Jason. I hope you are keeping well, my man. Who else have we got here? I want to get through this. I want to welcome everybody. Danielle Sandoval says, wow, what a lineup in the panel. Come on, you Spurs. One love. Big up, my man. I really appreciate that. Paulio125 says, big up, lads. Good to see you. Phil says, afternoon, all. Alex, box office, tell it as it is. We are losing tonight. Look. Ooh. It's up to your choice if you want to go into the game. Believe in that, my man. I'm not going to tell you any different whatsoever. Drew Zilla Borum says, big up, Jack, big up, Dave, and big up, everyone. Good to see you in the house. Big up, Derek Smith. Good to see you, sir. Who else have we got? Shem Tal says, oh, no, it's the FAB4 large and in charge. Great to see Dave in the house smiling, hopefully smiling at the end of the game too. Well, that's the plan. And hopefully smiling when I'm in the bedroom tonight as well on Valentine's Day. But we'll wait and see. Hopefully today all rolls into one great day for the Irish Hotspur. That would be nice. We've got Alex Apostolou in the house, evening gents, from Nicosia, Cyprus. Hopefully you're enjoying the weather over there, my man. We've got Mark Oxborough says 2-1 Spurs. Absolutely love that. Super chat here from Adrian G says, big up, lads. Box office script in a pipeline. Come on, you Spurs. Well, look, we missed that script at the weekend against Leicester, my man. We ended up getting absolutely pummeled. So hopefully it is a better script today, Adrian. And hopefully you're enjoying your day, my man. Beat yourself up.
Good man, Adrian.
We've also got Derek Hutchinson, big up Dave, Jack Phil, and box office. AC Milan 1, Spurs 2. Come on, you Spurs. We also have row 2.
Rob Object.
Rob Object. He says, Mr. Box Office in the house. That he is, loud and clear. Big up, Killian Gubins. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're not on night shift tonight. Joseph says, I'm taking the missus out for dinner, so we'll be missing the game. Damn it. Let's hope for a good UEFA Champions League run. Look, what I will say is, if you were intelligent enough and smart enough and cunning enough, you would book a TV. You'd book a table where you're facing the TV, my man. And then you just pay them a little tenner, say, look, slip that game on. You know what I mean? There's ways around it. You don't have to miss the game, Joseph. Big up, brother. We've got Bill. I'm going to do myself a favor and watch the PSG first Bayern Munich game instead. Look, that's your prerogative, my man. I'm not going to tell you otherwise, but I have a sneaky feeling you will turn the Spurs game on for sure. Lisa says, hey, guys, what fun panel. Good afternoon in the chat. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Lisa. I hope you're keeping well. Hopefully you're having a good Valentine's Day. TJ says, big up, guys. Spurs heroes are born in the San Siro. Absolutely love that. Love the positivity. Kevin Spears says, what's your thoughts on Dyer starting midfield 3? We will get straight into that. Do not worry about that, my man. We've also got Stevie Fraser. Big up the Harris Army. Is this going to be a coming of age tonight for one of our boys? You never know. Believe it. Come on, you Spurs. Again, we'll definitely be talking about that, Stevie. Jack putting a good question on that. Big up, Jacob. Good to see you. We've also got Mark Elwood. Suspended core out is a big blow for our Champions League hopes. Absolutely couldn't agree more with that. Big up, Dermotron. I hope you're keeping well, brother. Big yourself up. We've got Wayne Court says, hey, guys, hope you're all well. Come on, you Spurs. We've also got Ian Seinfeld says, big win tonight. Tottenham on tour. Come on, you Spurs. I hope that's the case, my man. Beyond 72 says, grand to see the Irish Mr. Box Office and crew. It is also grand to see you too, sir. And we have Geoff Totten says, good evening, guys. The game is on at 4 a.m. for me, so may not watch it. Look, if you can, I would say stay up and give it a watch. I think tonight will be a good night for us Spurs fans. Nearly at the bottom of the chat. A few more to get to, and then we'll crack into it. Sir Ace says, Box Office, he's in the building. Big up, my man. We've got Zahid Zayin. He says, games should be slower tonight in Italy, so Spurs have a great chance for the win. Look, I was looking into AC Milan's running stats. They don't run too much, so if we can outrun them, we definitely have a chance. Michael Bennett says, after that shit show on Saturday, they had best put in the performance of a lifetime tonight. Come on, you Spurs. Big up Theo Isaac. Big up Mark Newsons, big up Dave and Jack and Panel and Harris Army. Italian job tonight. Conte will nick all the points with a San Siro smash and grab. In Conte we trust. Great calling on the fan show yesterday, by the way. Football is life. FHD says, what is the best plan from your point of view today? Don't worry, we'll cover all of that. Anthony Rose says, big up Dave and Jack. Took a day off work. Come on, you Spurs. Love the show. That's what I'm talking about. Dedication. If you can't get it off, if the game's on while working, take it off. Absolutely love it. The bottom do it says pumped up for tonight's game. Spurs masterclass incoming. And we also have Brian Dempsey. All right, Dave and Jack, great panel. Feeling my spidey sense tingling. Could be in for a night in Milan. 2-1. Come on, get into them. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely love that. Big up to Scoot Reacts as well. I hope you're keeping well. We've also got Replay 321 says, come on, you Spurs. I believe we will win. Love that. And Moondog says, I can see us doing okay tonight. Come on, you Spurs. Moondog, what's the SAR? What's the SAR Torre bet that you have on tonight, my man? Let us know. Enlighten us all. I might have to stick a sneaky fiver on it if I have anything left after Valentine's Day, of course. But big up, Moondog. Everybody, we are absolutely going to get into it. There's already 165 in-house. If you could smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. The big push for 9K is on, 15 away. Let's see if we can make it happen tonight. Make my Valentine's Day and Jack's Valentine's Day. That would be awesome. And look, we know times are tough, so keep getting your comments in the chat. We'll bring them up. But if you really want to support the work that we are trying to do here, the content that we put out, feel free to make it a super chat. And it really does help support everything we do. And then we also have Trinidad and Deep says, the Irish Hotspur, bless everyone. This Spurs team will cause everyone to drink. And I don't drink. I've certainly felt like it at times. And talking ball, good to see you in the house. We are all excited. Do not worry about that, brother. So, look, of course, we are aware San Siro tonight. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. Referee is Sandro Scharer. He is Swiss and he's only managed 9 Champions League games, so relatively inexperienced at this level. And in the VAR room, it is the German Marco Fritz. And then on the TV channels, if you want to watch it tonight, of course, UK and Ireland, it is on BT Sports. And in the USA, it's on CBS or Paramount Plus. And everyone, make sure you tune in from 7:30 for the watch along this evening. Of course, Tottenham are missing Hugo Lloris out with a knee injury, Basuma out with an ankle stress fracture, Sessegnon out with his hamstring, and Pierre-Emile Salzburg out suspended. AC Milan, Mike Mangan is out with a calf injury, plus their other 2 keepers, so their 4th choice is actually in the net tonight. And Ismail Benassar is out as well, confirmed this afternoon that he will be missing. Look, Jack, we'll kick it off with you, my man, after a big defeat at the King Power Stadium. Do you expect us to bounce back tonight or at least see a more committed performance, my man?
It kind of doesn't matter, Dave. They absolutely need to. I feels like this type of team, they kind of just seem to flow in and out. They're such, a polar opposite, version of themselves each and every game. And you do probably expect them actually, because they are able to turn into probably the best performance into the worst performance in the span of a week. So you could see them maybe in the span of a few days, then be able to pick themselves up and be able to carry it out and be able to bring in some type of good result. So I don't even know, Dave, like if it's, can they or will they? They kind of just have to, let's be honest. And even with the players that we might be without, like Bentancur and other guys that we'll get into later, it's time for the other players to step up, and it's time for the other players to probably show maybe what we have been missing. And also as well, just to kind of give some of the, the fans actually something still to believe in, something still to kind of be hopeful for the rest of the season. So Dave, it kind of doesn't matter. They have to show up and they have to be able to repair at least some way kind of honestly, just the feelings and the emotions that we had after the weekend, for sure.
Absolutely spot on. Alex Rob Belcher wants to know why you're never wearing the shirt.
I do wear a shirt. It's just that I don't wear it on stream sometimes, but I do wear a shirt, definitely. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with that sort of question anyway, because I can batter it away very easily. But big up to him, by the way. Big up to him.
Big up, Rob. And Alex, are you expecting a bounce back tonight, a performance of the ages, or are we capable of it even?
I don't know. I've got no idea, because the way that we are going on at the moment with these injuries, I mean, it just proves to me why, we were in a mess, and I wasn't so excited about what happened against Man City. For me, again, I don't see the difference between the 2 performances. I look at it like this. I think the Man City performance was very good tactically. tactically very good. Against Leicester, we can see the team's just not there at all, really. And that's it, really, for me. I don't know how he's going to play it, because for me, I think you said a great point in your fan show, David, saying that if Conte changes, he's defeating the whole object of being the manager he is at the end of the day, isn't he? And as I said before, a winner doesn't change. A winner's very stubborn because they've won with their system. So why would you change? That's why I have the feelings of what's going to happen at the end of the season. I've already said what I need to say. If you don't know, get to know Alex TFC if you really want to know, because I said it on my channel already. And I've said it loads of times already, so I don't need to repeat myself. It's going to be boring, isn't it? But my point is that he might have to change for this game. He might have to put somebody in a position that they're not familiar with. For instance, you might have to go to a back four for reasons, because of the fact that he ain't got the wing backs to do it and the midfield as well. He might have to, if he's going to play the three, he might have to, in my opinion, play Emerson Royale as a right centre back, because as a right wing back, he's absolutely useless as far as I'm concerned. Simple as that. He might have to play a defender in midfield. He might have to play Kulu in the number 10. You have to do something, and it might not be pretty, but with Harry Kane, you've got a hope, and that's the hope that keeps on giving, isn't it? Harry Kane, isn't it? Really, because if he's not fit, we're a mid-table team, and that's it. But I'll leave it there, David. I'll give it back to you.
No, look, you raise a number of good points, and we're actually just going to go straight into it on Antonio Conte, because there's a good few questions I have here. And look, you two guys weren't on the fan show last night. I'd like to get your thoughts on the question from the fan show last night before we move on to other topics on Antonio Conte. But look, Phil, we'll start with you on this, and then we'll get back to Alex. Is Conte underperforming, or is his defence not good enough?
It's the defence for me. It's always been the defence. He hasn't got the tools to do the job. Defence is like championship at best for me, most of them anyway. Apart from Romero, Emerson can defend, but he can't go doing well going forward. So yeah, for me, I think he does need to change it up. I was saying earlier, I think he does need to go maybe at 4 at the back at the minute, especially with how well the defenders are playing. For me, I would play Davis left back, Longley left centre back, Romero and Emerson or Porro for me going forward. But I know Conte ain't going to do that. He's very stubborn. He's a winning manager, so he probably won't do that. But that's what I think we should do going forward.
Interesting. And Alex, where do you sit on the Antonio Conte situation? Is he underperforming, or is that backline not set up for success?
It's a difficult question, that, because the fact is, right, and I see people saying right now I should know better than Antonio Conte. No, I don't. He is a winner. Yeah, I don't like him. No, I don't like him. I didn't want him as my manager. No, but the fact is, I've said it already. When you're a winner and you have to do what your Tottenham Hotspur's policy is, it don't make sense whatsoever. When we're the team that went over to him and gone to him twice and said, we want you as our manager because you're a winner and you've won everything, and he's got to go back to what we're doing when we've won just one Carabao Cup. It makes no sense whatsoever. Agreed. You know what I mean? So I'm not deluded. The fact is, we should do what he wants, not the other way round, and that's it. For me, it's a bit of both. And this is where I've got to look at it like this. Conte's not helping himself by staying here, knowing the fact that he's got not the resources that he needs. You know what I mean? And not conforming to what we want at the end of the day as well, because if he's staying here, he's accepting this. So for me, he's he's at fault there. But the fact is, there are bang average players at this club that need to leave. Yeah, I'm not going to mention all the names because I've already mentioned it already. Because you already heard one name. I mean, I'll give you a spoiler, and I'll say it like this: where is Virgil van Dijk? Where's Virgil van Dijk these days? Where is he? Where is he?
Whoever called him Virgil van Dijk?
Where's Virgil van Dijk from last season? By the way, this is the gift that keeps on giving. Virgil van Dijk, I was told. You know what I mean? Honestly, I've never heard such absolute waff in my whole life. You know, Ben Davis. Okay, he's good. He's a good 5 out of 10. A good 5 out of 10. If you want to be mid-table or 6th, that's great. Yeah, but if you want to be winning championships like this man Conte wants to be, yeah, because that's why the expectations is up here at the moment. Yeah, up here at the moment. Sorry, David, but I'm on a roll. I'm like rolling right at the moment. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it rolling like this. Yeah, right. When you're up here, like Antonio Conte, you need players up here. You know what I mean? Not down here and trying to make them up here. You know what I mean? That's Poch. You know, that's Rodgers. That's Nagelsmann. But we don't go for managers like that. We go for the top, don't we? You know what I mean? So it don't make sense. Sanchez. I mean, these are just a mistake to be waiting for, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly.
These all these defenders that you're saying about, Alex, I mean, they can't deal with the pressure. We invite pressure on us at the moment as a team, on our defence, and they can't deal with that. So the reason why I said like a back four and being more on the front foot is to take that pressure off the defence.
Yeah, no, I'm not having to go at you.
No. I was just.
Yeah. Go. Yeah, go.
We need to get away from inviting pressure on us and putting more pressure on the opposition. For me,
I hear that point, Phil. I hear that point. But at the same time, how many times have you seen Moonhead, slice at a kick when he's under no pressure at all? Or how many times have you seen Hugo make a huge, gigantic mistake under no pressure at all? Or times when we've seen Sanchez just basic clearance, slip and fall and be able, falls on the floor, his face down. Those kind of like even Dyer, remember what was it, Forrest? What was the game it was where he had the most basic clearance in the world and then he cleared it out for like a goal kick, or not a goal kick, he cleared it out for a corner
Brentford,
and we were like halfway upfield. It's like
Brentford.
Those kind of moments, like Phil, like I understand your argument, but we're under no bit of pressure in that moment. Yeah. So how is it going to be any different?
You don't attempt them passes, do you? You keep it simple, put it into players that can play. Do you know what I mean? And
I think then to be on the front foot, we need to be good at keeping possession, right? And like we don't have the players, I think, to keep possession. And we do have the players to keep possession in midfield, sort of in the wingback areas, but the center backs are the ones that usually struggle to retain and keep possession. Usually,
I mean, the amount of times Dyer, plays a long ball and he fucks it up and it goes out of play. You know what I mean? Keep it simple, keep the ball, play short passes into the midfield so they can create. Do you know what I mean?
He's not capable of doing it though. He's not capable of doing it though.
He's not
capable. He's just not capable of doing it at all. I've gave up because like I say, I don't say this because I'm watching it on the TV. I'm there at the stadium. I'm at very good seats, by the way, watching it myself, watching him every single move. I was watching me. I think it summed it up when Norwich, who got relegated, and we beat them 5-0. Everybody's jumping up and down, and one little moment in that match, Dyer lost the ball and Moyes could have scored. And I looked at that moment, I sat there and thought, and that's our main defender. Don't need to say anymore, don't I, really? You know what I mean? The midfield, the fact that we have to rely on a player that came from Juventus, to be fair, good midfielder, that should be a standard midfielder for any class midfielder, yeah? Now he's out, we're saying, the season's over. I mean, honestly, please, I want to be positive. I want to be optimistic.
I get that.
But it's just the fact is, and David, you know what I'm going to say. It's like we're just not relevant at the moment because, like I say, when I look at the teams of 1960s, 1980s, it's far and away we're nowhere near that team. We are nowhere near that team. You know what I mean? And this is what I say to youngsters. I say, if you're not learning anything now, go and learn that. Go and learn 1960s. Go and learn 1980s, bro. Because you learn so much more than you've learned in the last 20 or 30 years. Since I started really supporting this club after Jerry Francis got sacked. And we all know the story after that, don't we? You know what I mean? So, I mean, for me, to answer your question, it's both. But the fact is, Tottenham were at fault because they brought in Antonio Conte and they brought him in to keep everyone happy, to
Yeah.
keep everybody happy. They didn't have a target of saying, why are you bringing in Antonio Conte? Are you bringing him in for championships? If you're not bringing him in for championships and bringing him to do what he wants, why are you bringing him in for? And now we're in the mess we're in at the moment. And who do we want now? Oh, yeah, we want Pochettino. And who said that a couple of years ago? Who said that 4 years ago? Oh, it was me. The main event, the professor of truth and entertainment. Don't need to say anymore. That's all they need to say. If you don't know, get to know. Back to you, David.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've a question there for Jacko, and then we'll get back on to more on Antonio Conte. But Anthony Rose, first of all, said it was Valentine's Day here yesterday. My wife said, "What did you cook for dinner?" I said, "If you don't know, get to know." I can't tell you the response. Big up, Anthony. Love that. Love that.
Brilliant.
Probably sitting there with a black eye today, I would say. Big up Simon Cohen in the chat as well. But Jack, JS says, why do we only talk about defence when our attack looks just as bad? Who's responsible? Now, look, just quickly on this, I mean, look, the reason why the defence gets highlighted is because it's been bad for 3 to 4 years. Our forward line is the one that usually bails us out of the game. But Jack, why do people keep switching the focus off the back line? Why is it so taboo to highlight it and highlight the deficiencies?
I mean, I could see why some people might think that the attack doesn't look all that great, maybe aesthetically or like, on the eye. It's not like the most pleasing all the time. But the fact that we're only 4 goals behind Arsenal in the league table scored this season, like only 4 goals behind the league leader. So that would show we're the top 3. We're the top 3 in the league right now when it comes to goals scored. So we have no problem this season still under Antonio Conte with scoring goals. If we had also had maybe a better defense, maybe we might even score even more goals. You never even know. Like to a fact, we probably wouldn't have our momentum killed, our spirit killed as often as well. So what I think that maybe the problem seems to be, Dave, is that when you do look at that, like if you're only 4 goals behind the league leaders in goals scored, clearly you are doing enough, going forward. But the other thing is that you're probably, at the same time, maybe not convincing people. Everything all right, Phil?
No, go ahead. You're all right.
You're probably not. You're probably not. Maybe making it look convincing, or it just doesn't seem to be pleasing enough on the eye for people at the moment. But we're still scoring enough goals, clearly, at this moment in time, Dave. So that's where I get like a little bit frustrated. To answer your question, though, I do feel like it has been maybe taboo to criticize the defense, and maybe it's because a lot of these players have stuck around for so long. Maybe it's because they have stuck around for so long that we just don't even know when they ever will leave. So it's just kind of this permanent problem that seems to exist at Spurs. And if you want to keep pointing at the permanent problem, people are like, you got to eventually just talk about, a different issue. And it's like, well, if this seems to be the consistent culprit, if this seems to be the most common culprit for our problems, you have to continue to address it. But I think that's the issue, Dave, is that it's almost like it's this elephant in the room, the defense, that kind of just maybe nobody wants to address, consistently, or no one really wants to address head on, perhaps because we never really have addressed it head on. We have never seen it really fully revamped. We've never seen actually Dyer and Davies really ever actually have their neck on the line, or actually have maybe their real future, maybe put in doubt. I don't really think, I've ever can recall a time when Davies, had some club coming in for him, or Dyer had some club coming in for him, or we were showing them the door in any sort of sense. So I think really it's just been kind of an elephant in the room that either the Spurs board, as well as kind of Daniel Levy and previous directors of football, just didn't really want to address, didn't really want to, face, head first. But it also seems like the fan base as well kind of has struggled to do it. But that's also because they haven't ever really been moved on. So maybe it just feels like we're sort of just permanently stuck with them.
But also, I mean, look, scoring goals has never been a problem at Tottenham. It just hasn't, especially over the last 3-4 years. Even under Jose, Kane and Son struck up that partnership. We've got world-class forward players. The problem is keeping the ball out the back of the net. And that's why I keep highlighting. And that's why I've highlighted ever since I've come onto YouTube, about some of these guys. And I'll consistently do it until they're gone, because they are holding this club backwards. They're holding Harry Kane, Son back, and it's a huge problem. That's why it continues to get highlighted. And I don't understand why we keep deflecting the attention elsewhere. I get that the forward line were absolutely abysmal against Leicester. All 3 of them were absolutely shit. Kane was woeful, Son was shit, Kulu was probably even worse. And I get that. But, you know, they're the ones that bail us out most times. And most of the points we've achieved this season has been because they've bailed us out. And that's why they don't get highlighted, because they constantly perform. That back line doesn't, in my opinion. And just quickly on the, you know, the Conte question answers, the underperformance was defence not good enough. Look, Conte is still reliant on too many players who should have been upgraded long before now, which weren't, which is not Conte's fault. And we knew when we brought in Conte that his approach and the success that he's brought does rely on having a decent standard level of centre-backs. And the only recruit we've made in that area under Conte is Clement Longley. So, you know, for me, you can't keep putting everything on Conte. Sometimes you just have to realise that there is a huge problem at the club. And Pioli at AC Milan is actually going through something very similar, which we'll touch on. But since Kessié left to Barcelona, they never replaced that guy who sat in front of that back line and protected it. And now they're conceding a lot of goals as well. So not having the right players in the right positions can be absolutely detrimental.
Yeah. But also when you find yourself, Dave, like, again, you're third in the league with goals scored. You're only 4 behind the league leaders, but you're 6th in the league for goals conceded. Why would you continue to try to fix and perfect the attack when the other side of it is clearly lagging behind? Like, you're third in the league for goals scored. Maybe that you might be doing some things wrong, you know, with the offense. Maybe you might be doing some things wrong with the attack, but you're clearly not doing that much wrong. Like, obviously it isn't the main issue with the whole team. And I think that's where the problem is, Dave, is that you have one side of the team that is 6th most goals conceded in the league, and you have one other part of the team that's 3rd most goals scored. So one side of the team is putting up their end of the bargain. The other side of the team simply isn't. So why would you continue to tweak and try to, you know, maybe influence the attack even more when that is kind of holding up its end of the share at the moment?
That's why I'll tell you why. Because their priorities are completely wrong, and they don't believe in Antonio Conte. Like I said before, and I wasn't having a go at you, Jack, that time when I said this. I was having more of a go at the board. The fact is when you've had a conversation with somebody for so long, how many times? There's only so many times you can have that conversation with somebody and they're not listening. You know what I mean? And you're the one that is the expert. Well, he is the expert. Antonio Conte's got the trophies to prove it, and you got someone that's an amateur, maybe an amateur, and I'm not going to mention the name because I'm not here. I'm here for football, because Mr. Box Office talks about football. Main Event talks about football, not politically. You know what I mean? So, like I said, when you're talking to somebody that is not who's not a football guy, who's just the owner, right? And who's not listening and thinks he needs to do it his way. And the person that's the expert has got his way that can achieve you the greatest that you can get. There's only so much you can do. And that's why I'm saying it's only going to be one outcome at the end of the season. And that's it, because it's clear to see. And it happened with Mourinho as well. And I still admit, David, I didn't like Mourinho. I'm glad he gone, because I didn't like him in the first place. But the fact is, someone said to me already, he said to me, a good message said to me, if you don't do what Mourinho wants, it doesn't work. Look what happened. And that's it. You know what I mean? We didn't get Skriniar. We didn't get the players that he needed. We didn't get rid of Danny Ali, even though I didn't like that at the time. But we should have got rid of him. Should have done what he wanted. Didn't do what he wanted. Look what happened. We lost the Carabao Cup, and he got sacked before the Carabao Cup, and we ended up with nowhere, didn't we? You know what I mean? It is what it is. But the thing is, to look optimistically, this is the Champions League, and this is completely different to the Premier League. So somewhere along the line, there might be an opportunity there, because we still got Harry Kane up front, we still got Danjuma, we still got Son, we still got Richarlison, even though I think he's been bang average this season. We got Perisic. There is an opportunity there. You know what I mean? It's AC Milan. To be honest with you, there could be worse teams out there. So for me, there is an opportunity. But we have to see what happens, don't we? Really, I'm just trying to put a little bit of positive spin on it.
No, we do. We have to wait and see what happens for sure. Jack, I'm just going to leave you with this just quickly, because Miss walking in the door, so I have to give her a present. So just give me 1 second. But I'm going to ask you a question off the back of this. Clement says, Conte football is boring and shit. Defence, don't act like you don't see it. Conte out. Well, Jack, I want to kind of get onto another narrative here that's put out about, Conte. Spurs have the 6th most goals conceded in the league, while still having scored the 3rd most goals in the league. only 4 behind the lead leaguers, Arsenal. Has Conte really been depriving us of attacking football if we've only scored 4 fewer goals than Arsenal, with Richarlison, Lucas, and Kulu out for the majority of the season as well?
I think that's the last little end part to that is probably a major reason why it hasn't even looked that great to people, is because we've also been without some of our biggest players this season continuously. We've never had a full attacking lineup really to pick from. Even I think Alex and myself have probably multiple times each game looked at the bench and it's like, well, I guess this is plan A and we'll see if plan A works, because there isn't really a plan B available that you can bring on from the bench. And that has just been not really Conte's fault to a degree. It's just been injuries and injuries and injuries, and also probably maybe not enough recruitment done in the summer, perhaps, to maybe also give him maybe better options. But it has just been the fact that Richie's been hurt this whole season. Kulusevski's never really been consistently available. Lucas has turned into a ghost. So that's basically 3 attackers that you might actually have on the bench in certain games, just completely gone for the majority of the season. And it's probably contributed to even the stats behind why you don't see Kulusevski with a huge amount of goals this season. You don't see Richie with a huge amount of goals this season. I think simply because, Alex, they just haven't been available. It's not even that because they're getting picked or anything. They're just not physically there to be picked, to be put on the pitch to try to make something happen. And then also as well, like, I see people maybe saying that we're only scoring goals, via Kane, or we're only scoring goals via set pieces at this moment. But I mean, how else do you want to win games when you're also without majority of your attackers like on the bench? Like, if you don't have any attackers really to pick from because they're all injured, I don't really care how we're scoring the goals. And again, if we're only 4 goals behind the league leaders in total goals scored, it could be Harry Kane scoring all our goals, for Christ's sake. Like, I really don't care. I think it just matters about winning games and continuing to climb up this table. And if we're winning games by being the 3rd best attack in the league when it comes to goals scored, that's fine. I don't really care actually how we do it. To be fair, yes, it could be a bit prettier. Yes, it could be a bit better looking on the eye. I totally understand that. But it's not like it's always been ugly. It's not like it's always been like this gross kind of like, chop away kind of football, chip away at the team. Like, we were very free flowing team towards the final end of last season. We looked like a much better, complete, much more free flowing football. We had nice patterns in attacking play, especially even look at that West Ham game, which you and I went to, Dave. I mean, we absolutely tore them apart with beautiful football and with beautiful goals as well that we had scored. We haven't seen that as much this season, but I think that is a lot more to do with the injuries and then maybe a few tweaks that Conte might have gotten wrong. But at the end of the day, even if he's gotten some of these things wrong, he's still holding up his end of the bargain with the attack. He's providing goals. He's giving us enough goals to be in the top 4. Like, if you're 3rd in the league for goals scored, that is enough to be in the top 4. I don't really care how you get it done, especially, again, when you don't have the majority of your attackers to pick from the whole season. Like, why would you really criticize him for how he's getting goals scored if he doesn't have the majority of his players to pick from anyway?
100%. Look, let's let Phil on this as well. Phil, is the stigma around Antonio Conte's, the way of that? Look, I can understand people accusing it of being boring, but they're saying it's not attacking enough. But yet, Jack makes a good point. We've scored 4 less goals than Arsenal, who are top of the league. So is it really that boring? Or that negative?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I had an Eric Dyer moment then. Sorry about that. With Conte's style of play, it is a little bit boring to watch, but it's only boring to watch because we haven't got the players that he needs to use. We've got Porro in now, but he's going to take time to bed in. Adoji's going to be coming next year, so that's going to give us more attacking and more fluid and easy on the eye to watch. But at the moment, we just haven't got the players to do his system, so it's going to take time. But at the moment, it isn't easy to watch.
Look, I can understand that at times not being easy to watch, but a lot of it does rely on being able to transition that ball out from the back line and into the midfield and into the forward line. And I think it's very inconsistent the way we do it. I think that's where a lot of fans become very, very frustrated. But I don't buy into the narrative that it's super defensive, because we score goals. I mean, we score a lot of goals. We always have done it.
Yeah, what I was trying to say really was we grind out results. I can't remember the last time we were very convincing in the win. Actually dominating a game from start to finish. And we seem to just scrape through getting wins at the minute. and it's been going like that since the start of the season. So that needs to change for me. We need to do that on a consistent basis. More attacking and more on the front foot instead of sitting back.
Yeah, look, I can understand that. I can understand why people think it's boring, but I just think that the stigma around it being super defensive and stuff, it's not very fair when you look at the goals that we score compared to Arsenal, who are top of the league, and everyone's saying they're playing free-flowing football, but yet we find ourselves with 4 goals less. Look, another argument that has been made is there is an argument that Conte should stop persisting with a system that relies so heavily on defending until he can call on top-level defenders. But we have seen many of these guys in the back 4 before under previous managers, and it was not any better. So, yeah, I don't really understand that argument. Can someone maybe enlighten me on it?
I could try, and then maybe Alex could try it too. But
Yeah.
I feel like if we were to switch to a back 4, this is what it is, though, is that we can't use Dyer and Davies then, because we saw under Nuno and under Jose that they couldn't play in a back 4. They just couldn't. Like, Dyer was getting switched out every single week. Davies has just shown he cannot play left back at a Premier League level. I think he just can't get up and down. He doesn't have the attacking output as well. And I think we saw like he struggles actually kind of when put out in those sort of wide areas. He's a bit better just more as a center back than he is like being put out in a fullback in those one-on-one areas. Because even that game, Dave, in Nuno's last game, in the El Sacico, even Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I remember, was like tearing him apart like down that side. So it just shows that Davies and Dyer, like, they cannot play in a back 4. So you're kind of just rendering them useless. If you are going to switch to a back 4, you're then going to have to rely on probably like Romero and Longley for like the rest of the season. Maybe then you try to put Davies at left back, or you could try to put like Perisic at left back. But again, I just don't think it's all that much better of a solution actually at the moment. And again, I'll say this before, because if you think Dyer and Davies are going to somehow make it work in a back 4 under Conte, they couldn't make it work under back 4 under 3 previous managers. So how could they do it now under Antonio Conte, who doesn't even really use a back 4 very often? So you would have to then rely on Longley, Romero, and Emerson basically to be your best players for the rest of the season, which is possible. Like, I actually would rather see more of Longley and Romero together. I think they are better center backs. But this is what the point I'm trying to make is like you then kind of leave it even more risky, because Sanchez has proven he's also sucked in a back 4. Tanganga has proven he's not really all that great in a back 4. So you're kind of just hoping then that maybe Longley and Romero can play every single game for the next 2 to 3 days for the rest of the season. Like, it's just not all that plausible, I think, either, because then you're just chopping and changing the formation, chopping and changing the system every week. And like I'll say again, these guys have proven before, the majority of them, they cannot play in a back 4. Hence why we even got in Conte in the first place, or even Nuno, because we thought we could get a back 3 and bring the best out of Dyer and Davies, who we all said were better in a back 3 in the first place.
Fair. I just want to take a couple of comments and then we'll let Alex in. People, you know why people say I'm a chip off the old block. The old lads in the building. When the Spurs backs are against the wall, we tend to pull out a result. 1-1 tonight. Come on, you Spurs. Come on. Said the exact same thing already, my man. Big up the old lad. JS, he says, do some people actually watch Spurs? How can anyone with eyes say they enjoy Conte ball? You lot deserve performances like Saturday if you accept that crap. One thing I want to put an end to, and I see it all around YouTube saying fans deserve this, fans deserve that. You got to realize I support the club just like you do, Jay. What's the difference between me supporting it and you supporting it? Just because you have a difference of opinion, you think I deserve that defeat at Leicester. Absolute horseshit. At the end of the day, fans support this club. They love this club and they get behind it no matter what. Just like you do, my man. To say that fans deserve it is absolutely a load of bollocks, in my opinion. Complete load of shit. It's absolutely horseshit. All we can do is support and give our opinions, and that's what fans do. Fans are not in the boardroom. Fans are not in the transfer market. Fans are not out there playing on the pitch, and fans are not there out in the dugout. All we can do is share our opinions and support this fucking club. So to say that fans deserve it is an absolute piss take and a cop-out, actually, and it's just you looking to blame someone else for what happened at the weekend because you can't accept it. I can't accept it.
We don't have the final say on things, do we? Do you know what I mean? We turn up to the team.
I'm pissed off with saying fans get what they deserve and all. It's an absolute load of horseshit. It's a load of bollocks, and it pisses me off, rightly off. All we do is support the club. And that's all we do. Anthony Rose says, Dave, last week's Emerson was dropped after a great game. Porro was brought in and played crap, but Sonny has been shit for a while and he keeps playing him. Where's the benefits for playing? Well, look, completely understand the comment, but what I will say is, how many fans wanted Emerson out this club? How many fans sang songs about, you know, he can't defend, he can't attack, Emerson's our right wing back, we want him gone? How many fans sang that? And as soon as Conte changes it, now people are berating Conte for giving them what they want, and because it didn't work out. It's absolute madness. I can't get with that double standards. I just can't. Look, as for Sonny, you got to remember, Conte persisted with Kane last year, played him into form. So I can understand what he's doing with Sonny, if you want me to be brutally honest. Wembley One says, afternoon, boys. It's another hide behind the sofa night tonight. This is really where players need to earn their money by potentially accepting different roles and different positions. And then we've got the Bolton Duo says, we look unattractive because our forwards don't have the legs to press. It's only Bentancur and sometimes Højbjerg who can press. So it makes no sense talking about playing style. Look. Fair enough, my man. But Alex, where are you at with the discussion we were having about, you know, Conte changing it and maybe trying to suit what we've got?
I'll go back to the last point I made. I can't see him changing it, because I'm sitting there saying, like I said before, if someone came to me and I'm an expert at what I'm doing, I've been successful at what I'm doing, and they're telling me to change my style of the way I do things, I'm telling them, say, well, you're paying me the big dough, mate. You know what I mean? So, but what have you got to tell me that I should listen to you? Nothing. Okay, so you sit back down in your chair, and I'll just get on my job. Thank you very much. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It just comes back to that, isn't it? It just comes back to that, doesn't it? You know, it's like I said, it's like any fans telling everybody, all the fans are telling everyone. I mean, I'm not defending, but the point is, when you're a winner and we're going to winners to their door, and you're telling them to do something else, you know, like you said already, Dyer and Davis have failed in the back four. So why are you going to change it to a back four when they've failed already? I'm not disagreeing with David. It's the logic. You know what I mean? It's a logic, because, you know, you knew exactly what you were getting with Antonio Conte in the first place.
Alex, he hasn't changed. He hasn't changed anything else yet. This is the thing. He hasn't changed it to a back four where, you know, take Dyer and Davis out of the equation. You know, you've got Longley, you've got Romero, and then you've got Emerson or Porro. Yeah, and then you see maybe Davis left back. Well, he hasn't tried that. He hasn't tried Longley and Romero in the middle with a Porro, Emerson, or Davis. He hasn't tried that yet.
Didn't he try that mid-Chelsea game? I know there aren't a lot of examples, but didn't he try the mid-Chelsea game and we lost and we conceded? Remember Reece James scored?
That's in one game. That's during a game. I mean, if you play that, you know, in a couple of games consecutively, it might work. It might work. You know, if you're doing it mid-game, it's so difficult to like change a system and try and work that out for like during a game. For me, it needs to be consecutively. You know, 3 or 4 games playing that sort of formation to get any sort of joy out of it.
I see the logic what you're saying, but the point is, I'm saying right now is that, I mean, I think for me, you either play a back three again and play Emerson, Romero, because I think Romero needs to step up in centre defend as a central defender now, the middle defender now. And if you have to play him, play Longley. You know what I mean? It's just that midfield you've got to look at, and you might have to play a defender there. I suggested on Henry Wright, maybe put Tanganga there, or put somebody there, or play Kula in the number 10. You know what I mean? And then play Moura as a right wing back. Because he's done it before, hasn't he?
Yeah, we should be talking as fans about this. We shouldn't be in. Well, Conte shouldn't be in this situation. He should have the players already start the season. You know, maybe mid-season to get these players in to take us forward. But we're fighting a losing battle with these players.
Yeah, but
every single time.
I was predicting this a long time ago, though. This is the point. This is what I've said. Because the thing is, he never got his players that he needed. He didn't have the defender he needed, and that's it. But I mean, we can go on about that later. But my point is, at the moment, he's going to have to maybe do something. But my fear is that, yeah, you might have a good point about him going to a back four. But the fact is, if he does that, He's defeating the whole object of what he's all
But not-
about.
Yeah, he's
not
going
only
against
that,
himself, isn't he?
But not
Exactly.
only
So
that,
that's the
though,
point.
lads. Not only that, though, it's the beginning of the end. Once the manager changes up everything that he wanted to come in and do, it signals the end. It signals that he's lost control, that the players are the ones in control. And we've been here before under managers where the players have been the ones in control, and it's not pretty.
I'll get
It's
that.
not pretty, and it doesn't always work switching it up. And if it doesn't work, you tend to lose your job. Now, I just want to take one more comment from JS, and then I'm just not going to get into it anymore. But he sounds more like you support Conte to me. I mean, look, if you go back to my last two and a half bit years of content, you realize I was a Spurs fan before Conte. If you want, I'll go and grab all the jerseys I have from a kid that my parents were kind enough to buy me. All the jerseys all the way up through the years. So if you think I'm support Tottenham just because Conte is here, you are sadly mistaken, my friend. Plus, what I will say is the reason why I back Conte is because I've been on about this backline for so long now, and I can foresee the problems, and I refuse to let another manager of a trophy-winning ability to take the blame for what these fucking numpties in the backline failed to do and have let us down. And don't get me wrong, man, I'm just as frustrated as you are about what's going on at Tottenham. I don't like a back five. I don't like it, but I understand why Conte plays it. Because playing the two in there, it's going to look even more worse. It's going to look shambolic. We've had a four under Nuno and under Jose, and look what happened. It wasn't any better. The problem is this backline and not enough recruitment across that backline. The only recruitments we made in that position since Toby and Jan is Joe Rodon. Championship player, since gone. Romero, who has been good, and then Langley and unknown. That's it. We haven't done anywhere near enough recruitment across that backline. I refuse to let another manager take the blame because players just can't do what they're asked to do. It's that simple. So to say that I'm a Conte fan before a Tottenham fan is absolutely madness. JS, again, you're wrong. Not even going to ask you for apology. I'm not even going to stoop to that level if you want me to be honest. But look, I'm going to ask another question here off the back of that question about switching it up. Pioli, the AC Milan manager, is actually going through something very similar to what Conte is going through right now. He didn't get the players in midfield to replace Kessié and has recently changed his system because he does not trust his defense because they've been conceding a hell of a lot of goals recently. So he has ditched the 4-2-3-1 for a 3-4-2-1, and it is still not working for him. And he does look resigned to being sacked. So is it just as easy as, say, changing the system? Because I would argue once you do that, it doesn't work. You've lost control and you're going to get sacked. It can't just be as easy as changing the system. It just can't be.
I think you're right, Dave. I'll just answer quickly. I was going to say, I think you're right. Another thing too, though, I think it's very personnel dependent, like as well. Like if you're going to, even if we were to make that switch to the back four that we were kind of talking about, that a lot of people have asked for, like you put Royale at right back, right? Longley left-sided center back, Romero right side center back. We still discussed before, like if one of those get hurt, like we then have to probably go back to the back three because no way would you ever dare do like Dyer and Sanchez like in a back four. You would then try to maybe beef it up a bit more and go to a back three where they actually, I think, have proven to play better in. Even though they don't play well, they still play better in that. And so this is the thing is like, even if we did switch to a back four, Dave, in case we get another injury, I think then we have to switch back to a back three actually because of the personnel that we have available. And so also in the case of Pioli, like you said, this guy is kind of going through a similar issue right here is where he had a back four, I think originally, I think for a long time he was playing a 4-2-3-1, if I'm not mistaken, at AC Milan. It actually stopped kind of working for him. He started conceding a lot of goals. I think in the Serie A, they have the 7th most goals conceded. And so then he decided to switch things up, like maybe a lot of fans would ask for, switch to a back five. And it's not really been working for him. It's been very, very in and out of them. Also, Leao has been like coming off the bench and things like that. It's just not good over there at AC Milan. They're losing, Milan derbies 3-0 and things like that, Dave. It's just not a good season for them. Even when switching to a back five after conceding a lot of goals from a back four, they're still conceding just as many goals. So it just proves the point, like you said, that even if you were to switch to something that might seem to fix your issues, it might not really actually be the case. And that's also because maybe that manager isn't really all that proficient, in that system that you want him to play. And I also think it's very personnel dependent too.
Alex, Phil, you anything to come in and say off the back of that? Maybe you, Phil, because you're asking for a change. But like I highlighted with Pioli, it doesn't always work out the way we think it would.
It doesn't always work, but we haven't tried it properly yet. We haven't.
The thing is, we have tried a back four. Like this thing saying we haven't tried a back four is nonsense because we have under Nuno and Jose with a lot of these defenders.
Yeah, but with the players that I've said to play, like Longley, Romero, Emerson, Davis, and I haven't seen that back four yet. I haven't seen that going forward. You know, I'm only saying that now because of the players that we have out. You know, such as the midfielders and stuff. You know, just to try something new. I actually think tonight Milan can be got at. You know, with their defence, and this is why I say be more on the front foot. You know, get a couple of goals against them. Do you know what I mean? Maybe early on. But if we keep sitting back, we're just going to invite pressure, and we can't deal with it as a defence if we play a back three. So I say we try and outscore the opposition tonight. Try and get more goals than they do, and then go into the second leg, and then you know maybe we'll have a better squad and look better in that midfield. So. You know, that's the way I think we should go anyway tonight.
Fair. Alex, anything you want to say, my man?
I mean, I do see what Phil's saying. It's just unfortunately, like I said, it's down to the fact that we've got who we've got at the moment as a manager. That you know, for me, I think David's spot on. I never really agree with David, but he's absolutely spot on. I say it as well. You know, if he changes to a back four. He's literally defeating his purpose as a manager. You know what I mean? And for a manager that's won where he's won, you know, I mean, to be honest with you, you know me, Dave, and I'm going to be honest, and people might not like it. I don't care if he goes. I do not care. Well, I think
I think many are with you on that, to be honest.
I'm not a prediction. It's a spoiler. I don't care. I don't care if he goes because we're in the mud already. You know what I mean? I've already said I want Pochettino. I've said it on my channel already. You know what I mean? Alex THC, if you want to know again. You know what I mean? Because I've done something again. If you really want to know, I've got Mr. Box Office Unleashed. You know what I mean? The debut. You know what I mean? And there's going to be more like that on the channel as well. Because, you know, it's all about getting in there and talking about what is really true to yourself. Anyway, let's go on. But like I said, like I just, you know, I think it's just defeating the object of him being himself at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I just think it's just I hate talking like this because the thing is though I want to be optimistic because if you
determine that though, Alex, doesn't it? You know,
but the point I'm making is that with Champions League we got to Champions League final. Yeah, when we weren't really that great, you know what I mean? So you can need not that great, but you can, get good results in this and then get through, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like the FA Cup, which I thought I expected us to win the FA Cup this season. You know what I mean? Because of the team we've got and look at the teams that are in that competition. But it's just with the team we have at the moment and the way it is going at the moment, I just don't know. But I think we'll get through today. I think we will get through today. With either a 2-1 loss or 1-1, because I think that result against Leicester, I just can't see the players not putting it in today. I just don't see it. You know, it also is something when you've got Harry Kane. Harry Kane, for me, I still stick by what I say. He's still a loser until he wins a trophy.
I'm coming on your channel. We're debating that.
Well, not on my channel, not now, bro. But maybe on your channel.
You wouldn't allow him to get to know?
No. But my point is, I think for me, there's a lot of pride there. Perisic, I know he's not playing well, Perisic, but there's a lot of pride there. You know what I mean? And for me, I don't think he can accept getting beaten like that again. You know what I mean? You know. There's players like that I think just sit there and say, I can't accept that. I cannot accept that anymore. You know what I mean? Because it is becoming embarrassing for those sort of players like Harry Kane, like Romero, for instance. Because remember, he's won a World Cup. Yeah. So he ain't here for no day out in Champions League anymore. You know what I mean? He wants to start winning stuff when you get a taste. You want more of a taste, you know what I mean? The fact that Lloris is still hung about after winning the World Cup is amazing, to be fair. You know what I mean? I know he's playing shit and he's injured, but that's the thing. But I just don't see. You just can't be embarrassed.
I'll be honest, Alex. I'll be honest. You look at Harry Kane. He got to captain Tottenham last week against Leicester on the weekend. And, I'm sure he'll be absolutely embarrassed that that'll be on his resume, that 4-1 loss while he was captain. And honestly, I do see us turning up tonight. I do see Harry Kane looking to inspire the boys and lead them to victory, because I'm sure he'll want a few victories under his captaincy, so that when Hugo Lloris is probably gone at the end of the season, he will be the one to take over. So I have no doubt we will turn up.
Tell you what, Dave, if like the problems we've got in the midfield at the minute with the injuries we have, it's a good job we haven't got them in the forward line, because if we had Kane and Son or Kulusevski out, like we have done, Basuma, Højbjerg and Bentancur, we'd be in a lot worse position now. Let me tell you that.
Spot on. Good to see you, rest of the country. How are you keeping? I haven't seen you in quite some time. Same as Big Time Night, Nick Brown. I hope you are all keeping well. Just quickly, if everyone could keep smashing that like button, keep smashing that subscribe button, I'll be absolutely grateful. Like I said, big push for 9K is on. And also feel free to get in a super chat to show your support for the channel and everything we're trying to do and all the content we pump out. And any content creator that tells you they don't rely off the support of the fans is absolutely lying to your face. Every channel needs that support. So feel free. I understand it's tough, hard times. So even if you agree, disagree, if you have any questions that maybe you think I've missed out, put them in the chat. We'll put them to the panel. I just want to say something just quickly as well. I think whether Conte stays or whether he goes at the end of this season, no matter what happens, whether it's a new manager or whether it's Antonio Conte this summer, we have to start showing patience to people that are coming into this club. And that goes with some of the players too. Very quick to write them off. Same as managers. I think what I see going on right now is exactly what happened under Jose Mourinho, like the Emerson situation. We want Emerson out. He drops Emerson. He plays Porro. Everyone's moaning and crying and blaming Conte. And it's like getting into a position where it doesn't matter what he does. He's getting criticized from all angles. And it's kind of like at some stage, we have to allow a manager to breathe, to get his feet in under the table, to build what he wants. And it takes longer than, a year, 2 years. It takes longer than that. And what I'm noticing is the period that we're giving managers and the patience we're showing them seems to be getting less and less and less and less. And I understand that because everyone's fed up with not winning trophies. And look, whether you're Conte in, Conte out, at the end of the day, we all want trophies. Everyone has a different idea of how to go about it. But the nuts and the bolt is we all want to deliver trophies. But the reality to be able to do that, if you look at Liverpool with Jurgen Klopp, now I know this season they're not the best example, but they've gone and won every club, every cup in club football there is to win under Jurgen Klopp. And that took time. They were at a stage where the squad probably needed a whole rebuild and they allowed them time. I remember they lost to West Brom and they were out there at the crowds going, way, everyone was slagging them. But what he was building, it took time. And over transfer windows by bringing in players, they eventually got there. And for me, we have to be able to do that as a fan base at some stage. Sit there and just allow a manager time to do it his way. Now, obviously, look, that comes with the owners bringing in players in the right position or key positions for whoever the next manager is. But we do have to show them time. Anyone else want to comment on that quickly?
I think the problem is, Dave, though, the only problem is with Antonio Conte is that he's a guy that needs to win now. You know what I mean? I never believed him about the 3 years. I never believed him because I looked in his face and sat there and thought, this guy don't come here for day out in Champions League. You know what I mean? And the contract just didn't look like to me as well. You know what I mean? So I think that's the problem at the end of the day. But I do agree with you. We need to move forward with the manager and, we just got to just... whatever happens, I think this is a conversation we're going to have afterwards anyway, because we've had discussions already or, another time because we're focused on this game right now. But I think, I do agree with you that, whatever happens next season, we do have to give that person time. I don't think that's going to be Antonio Conte, though. I'll be honest with you, that won't be Antonio Conte because he needs to win now. You know what I mean? Because he wants to compete with the Klopps and Guardiolas and the top teams at the end of the day. So, but yeah, that's just what my thoughts anyway.
I tend to agree with Alex on that, to be honest. He does need players, like ready-made players straight away. Like he went into Inter, he went into Chelsea, he had players already there. that you could work with. Here, it's a project. It'll take time. It'll take probably 4 or 5 years until he gets the squad he wants. Because all Levy does is there you go. There's 2 players. There's another 2 players in the summer. Another 2 players in January. So it's not like all players in one go in one transfer window. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to take time, and I don't think Conte's got that time, to be honest.
No, look, that's fair enough. And look, whether like I said, whether it's Conte or whether it's the next guy that comes in here, we just have to give someone time. We've got to realize the problems we have when this manager comes in, and then we've got to allow or give him time to fix it. Now, under Antonio Conte, let's be realistic. There was so much to be fixed. We're never going to get everything done, and we're still sitting here today with more to do. But hopefully next time that comes in here, there's not as much to do. So hopefully we will see maybe a turnaround much, much quicker than what we've seen it in previous years. But let's wait and see. And do you know what? Big up JS. Look, do you know what it is, my man, right? I have no problem people questioning my thoughts, my conversation on Tottenham or whatever else. Fully understand that. Look, this is the name of the game, and I believe it's not a bad thing questioning what I have to say or what others have to say, because it's the only way you get the best out of people. Expand and broaden the conversation, but also so everyone can leave with maybe food for thought and things to digest over the evening and stuff like that. No problem with it whatsoever. I think it's a good thing. What I don't like is my support or anybody else's support being questioned for the club. Because like I said, whether you're Conte in, Conte out, or whatever else it may be that divides this fan base, we all want the same thing. And we all love this club. And I just don't like my love for the club being questioned, because I'll be honest, the club is my everything. It's what I live for every single day. It's what I wake up for. I just don't like that. That's all. But fair play to you, my man. I really appreciate that. That takes a lot of bollocks to do, brother. So big yourself up. Now, guys, I do want to a couple more questions on the Conte situation here, and then we are going to move off it. Now, Conte is known for making sudden or late decisions about details such as training, start times, return dates from breaks. Sometimes training sessions can suddenly change, or days off can be scrapped the night before, requiring players to have to awkwardly change pre-planned engagements. Do you think this could actually be pissing the players off and affecting their performances? Now, I'm going to start with this. I'll be honest, I couldn't care less. These players moan, cry, bitch, bleat to the papers, moan about training sessions, man management styles, this, that, and the other. I mean, if someone was paying me 200 grand a week and they said, oh, by the way, your day off tomorrow is cancelled, you're in at 9 a.m. for training, no problem. You know what I mean? First of all, I love the game. I love football. So no problem to me whatsoever. But you're paying me 200 fucking grand a week. I personally don't think it should affect them. But Jack, do you think this could be something that maybe alienates the players a bit with Antonio Conte?
I mean, you wouldn't put it past the players to be, to be alienated, or you wouldn't put it past the players to, let's say, moan and cry, to take this maybe a bit, far, and also to maybe use this against Conte. But I'm with you, Dave. It's like something as a fan, it's almost impossible to like sympathize towards, because like you're being paid 200 grand a week to play the game that we all want to play, but you're also being well compensated for it. So what are they really going to be missing? Like their Michelin star dinner that they had booked like 2 months ago or something? Like it's just not really something that you'll really sympathize towards. Like they don't really live in like the world that we do if something like were to get canceled or anything like that. And I also really doubt, Dave, that if anything's really getting canceled, that's that serious. If it was something exceptionally serious, like, when it comes to maybe, you have a child being born, wedding, whatever it is, they usually do get that time off, and they actually do get to go, maybe they get those leaves of absence. They get to maybe take time off for family reasons, personal reasons, if need be. So if all they're really getting canceled is like, I don't know, a pair of movie tickets to the next day to like the premiere, or like a Michelin star night or something like that, Dave, I just don't really care if Antonio has that type of style where he, calls on them in a moment's notice. I mean, like I said, they're well compensated for it, so it's hard to sympathize. But I wouldn't put it past the players to use that against him either. I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't either. I think once he goes, which I think it's inevitable, I don't think he'll be in the dugout next season. I think you'll see things trickle out. The excuses roll out like they were under Nuno, like they were under Jose. And it's just kind of like, you know what? It's getting to the point where nobody knows what you want. Jose Mourinho comes in, criticizes you, you don't like it. Nuno takes another approach, he doesn't talk to you, you don't like it. Conte wraps an arm around you, you don't like it. You complain that you're being trained too hard under Pochettino, but now you're going to complain that you're being given too many days off or too much rest time underneath Antonio Conte. It's kind of like, you know what, just get the fuck out if you're going to be a big baby. But Phil, Alex, do you feel strong in this? Do you want to have a chat on this? Or
I think go on, Phil. Go on,
No,
Phil.
no, you carry on. Alex. Go on, mate.
For me, it's just excuses for me. It's absolute excuses. Again, I'll go back to what I've said already. I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but you know exactly what you're getting with Antonio Conte. You know exactly what you're getting with Antonio Conte. Also, I have to say this on our end though, if Antonio Conte signs that contract, he doesn't moan. He doesn't moan because he knows exactly what he's getting into with Tottenham now. You know what I mean? So there's no moaning anymore. You know what I mean? You know, but to go back onto that point, sorry, why are you moaning? You know exactly what you're getting with Antonio Conte. You know what I mean? You're all happy last season, and I'll stick by what I say. We weren't that great last season. We weren't that great. I was always at the thing saying the people that were fit last season, Harry Kane, Son, Kulu and Bentancur did have a little bit of an effect, but as I said before, if Kane and Son weren't fit, you would have not seen the assists that we were seeing before. You know what I mean? And seeing what the effect we had. And Arsenal completely mucked up last season as well. You know what I mean? So that helped us. And like I said, I thought we were going over the top because Champions League was never a trophy. And the fact is, last season, you had one game a week because we bottled it in the Conference League, which I still haven't forgot. And I still haven't got the FA Cup. And I still not forgot the Carabao Cup, but we got lost to the second team of Nottingham Forest. You know what I mean? And look who's trying to win it right now. Newcastle, Manchester United, who is supposedly in the mud. Don't need to say anymore. But anyway, moving on to these players who have embarrassed us already. Okay, embarrassed us already. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's why I want Dyer out my club. I've had enough of him. He's done. Virgil van Dijk needs to walk out my club, bro. Honestly, go back to maybe go and watch the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, forgot the Super Bowl's finished now, isn't it? Oh yeah, forgot that. Who won that, by the way? But anyway, say it in the chat. But yeah, just like if they don't like it, get out my club. I mean, Sanchez, if you don't like that sort of thing, if you don't, most of the players don't like it, bye.
I mean, is this to do with like Conte's training regime and stuff like that?
So this is like it's like they could have a day off, say tomorrow, but then all of a sudden Conte will schedule a training, or they could be told, okay, we need you back from break this day, but he might extend it or cut it short. This sort of thing.
It's a load of bollocks. Absolute load of fucking bollocks. Excuse my French, but at the end of the day, they're contracted to Tottenham.
It's hard to sympathise.
They've got to do a job. They've got to be professional. Don't look how much money you get in a week. Do you know what I mean? You're playing for a great club in Tottenham Hotspur. What are you moaning at? Do you know what I mean? Get on with the job.
And like I said, Phil, if it was something serious that actually was getting canceled, they would be given, the time off anyway for it. Like, Antonio's been given time off for his respective things that have gone wrong. He hasn't even clearly asked for that much time off for his respective things that have gone wrong. Like, what are they missing? Like movie tickets to the next match?
You're telling me you can't find someone to mind your kid. Your parents are probably not working, because you're supporting them, this, that, and you're telling me, you're going to cry because you can't find someone to mind your kids the next morning. Give me a break.
Conte's just had an operation. He's not meant to be back for another 4 weeks, and he's come back a week later.
Lost as well. He's lost 3 of his friends.
He's got his kid in Italy, by the way. He's got his kid in Italy. He's got his kid and family in Italy, by the way. So he's come here, sitting in hotels to manage this club, by the way. Yeah, I can't manage the personal stuff because I've already mentioned that already. That's personal to him. Respect to him, I've got to stick to the football, but he's literally got to go back to Italy every single weekend to see his family, and then come back to this rubbish. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, sorry,
Look,
Phil. Sorry, Phil.
look,
It's all
you're
right,
all
mate. It's all right.
We'll take the super chat from Rob Belcher, and then I've one more question on Antonio Conte, and then we will move on. It was actually from his pre-match press conference, which sort of found interesting. It's kind of like people who wanted him to be honest. Well, I think you've got it. But Rob Belcher says, $6 million question. Do you think Conte will stay? If not, who would you like to see take over and why? Look, I'll kick this off. For me, I'll be honest, I don't see him being here after this season. I think with his family being at home, apparently he was like, really bigging up Italian football yesterday in the press conference, this, that, and the other. It does look like he misses it. I don't think he likes the rigors of the English game, the constant press, the constant criticism, this, that, and the other. And look, I'll be honest, I do think he'll go. Now, I know some people are going to say, but we've got a year to extend it. I've said this ages ago. I said this months ago. Why would Tottenham extend it if a manager doesn't want to be here? There's no point having an unhappy manager in the dugout. So, in effect, that year added on, for me, I think it's actually to protect the club. So if someone comes in for them, they'll extend that year and they'll get some compensation out of the deal, in my opinion. Who do I want next? Look, I'll be honest. I don't think Pochettino is the answer. Being honest, I don't think the second time round is ever as good. Those who have gone back to right directs would probably attest to that it's never as good the second time round. I'll be honest, and until we improve that back line, until we bring in a number one goalkeeper, I don't see many managers really coming in here and being able to stamp their style of play, because we all want this modern style pressing football, but you got to have the players to do it. You got to have the players who are calm and composed to play out from the back like we had under Pochettino. You have to have players with a lot of pace, a lot of athleticism to be able to get around the pitch. You would say we probably don't have a lot of that either. So for me, I'm actually not sure who I want next yet, to be honest with you, Rob. But Jack, any answers for Rob, who you would like to maybe see in here next? Maybe a De Zerbi, someone like that?
There's a part of me that kind of just wants Pochettino back, just so every Spurs fan, including myself, can just shut up, to be fair. And then we can kind of just ride out, the rest of a few years, because it has just been kind of a little bit torturous to just kind of continue to have Pochettino constantly linked with us and constantly waiting, in the background. So it kind of just feels like just get it over and done with and just bring him back. I would rather, I'm kind of like you, Dave, continue with something else and try something different. But maybe I understand the logic for Thomas Tuchel, but it seems like also Spurs fans have a bit of a harsh relationship, or, maybe don't seem to like the former Chelsea managers. So in that case, I'd probably actually just go after some young, up-and-coming kind of manager that maybe still has a lot to prove, but obviously has a style of play and a type of philosophy and style that a lot of Spurs fans can get behind. And a lot of people seem to, let's say, enjoy showing up to watch every single week, because that's become a very important thing, clearly, for a lot of Spurs fans, especially clearly match-going fans, Dave, seem to really care more about, I can't speak for all the match-going fans, but they seem to care a lot more about sometimes, like, the style of play and how it looks, because they are paying, more than anybody else to go see it. So they want to see the style of play and the football be a lot more attractive. And that's completely understandable. And so maybe then in that case, you go after a Pochettino, or you go after some young up-and-coming, like, Italian or German guy that, has that type of philosophy, but is also maybe a bit unproven. And kind of go with something like that. That's kind of what Spurs are comfortable with too. So
fair, Phil. We'll let you answer this, and then we'll let you off to work, my man. I appreciate you giving up an hour or so before you head off to work. Not an easy thing to do. I know I would like to relax, so I appreciate you giving up the time, my man. But look, let's answer Robbie here. Do you think Conte will be here beyond this summer? And if not, who would you like to see take over?
It's not looking likely. If he does, my ideal solution would be Conte to stay and then get his players that he needs in the next couple of windows and give him that chance. If that does not happen, then it will be a scratch job for me. Get a different, sort the academy out, start from the bottom to the top. And then just start afresh, get someone in, a project manager, different ideas, different philosophy, maybe attacking style of play, and just start afresh. But yeah, my ideal solution would be Conte to stay and give him that chance.
Yeah, I would look me. I would like Conte to stay in and redo that back line for him, and because I do believe he can deliver trophies if we do give him the required tools. But look, Phil, we'll let you off work, my man. I appreciate your time, like I said, and hopefully you'll be sitting in work smiling with that Gooner fan of yours who's been in the chat. Hopefully we'll win tonight, my man.
Yeah, hopefully, lads. Hopefully, lads. Cheers for having us on anyway. It's been a pleasure. Cheers, Alex. Good to be on the stream with you and everyone in the chat. Keep positive, man. We'll get a good result tonight and then get West Ham on the Sunday as well.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
you Spurs.
Come on,
Go on, lads. See you later. Cheers, lads.
Brother. And Alex, same with you. If it's not Conte, who would you like to see take over and why?
I've said it already. I've said Poch. I've given a really good explanation on my channel already on that, because I knew I waffled on another channel regarding this because I didn't want to say his name, and honestly we're in the mud anyway already as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil it because I've already said everything.
Yeah, what I will say is to everybody, he's not going to spoil it. So everyone get over to Alex THFC and check out what his actual answer is. It's up there. It was up there today. So Rob, get over and check out Alex's answer. But Rob, my man, I really do appreciate the support, brother. It really does mean a lot.
Thank you, Rob.
You're an absolute gentleman. And same as JS, big yourself up, man. He says, if Conte is going, should he finish the season? Look, I'll take this quickly. For me, I don't think it'll be on purpose. I think it'll probably naturally seep into the team that if there is no definitive answer very soon on Conte's future, I think maybe you will see some of the players sort of slack off. It's like, well, there's no need for me to meet your physical or mental demands if you're not going to be here. Which, look, I think is wrong. But ultimately, I think if you're playing in any team, or even if you apply it to the jobs that you're in, if you know your manager's not going to be there, with the last couple of weeks, you are naturally going to end up sliding off, start dicking about, take extra time on breaks or whatever it may be, knowing that there's going to be a change in the guard. So, look, I said this actually a while ago, JS, when that contract wasn't signed. I think the club and Conte have probably agreed for a marriage of convenience until the end of the season, if you want me to be brutally honest. I think that's what's probably been mutually agreed upon them. But look, I do believe he should be allowed to finish out the season. What he done last year is nothing short of a miracle, getting us top four. I know some people would say it's not, but at the end of the day, for me, I think the reason why a lot of questions come in this season is because he really overachieved last season, in my opinion, by getting us top four. And I think that's where a lot of the criticisms and maybe the frustrations come this year, because a lot of us were expecting better.
Good point.
But yeah, I think he should finish out the season, if you want me to be brutally honest, JS. But maybe let me know your answer. Do you agree, disagree? Put it in the chat and I'll bring it up, my man, and let me know. Anyone else that wants any to support or any questions, feel free to do what Rob and JS have just done. Now, I just want to ask one more question on Antonio Conte, and then I do want to get into some maybe quick discussion on the team for the last half hour, 45 minutes. But in the pre-match press conference, Conte said, we are working on playing under pressure all of the time. It's good for some players and it's bad for others. Sometimes players feel motivated, and times if they feel so much under pressure that they can't perform. Now, I would ask the panel, we'll start with you, Alex, and go back to Jacko. Who do you think he was referring to here? And is he right or wrong to say it? Because Redknapp, the great Harry Redknapp, believes he's wrong to say that about the players.
I don't know which players it is. I don't want, because I don't know.
We know. Come on. Look at some of the players against Leicester. We know, Alex.
I know. And I mean, it's the obvious ones, isn't it? But I don't know. I don't want to just pick them out, because to be honest with you, I'm fed up talking about these players anyway. But I think he's absolutely, like I said before, we all knew what Conte's all about. It's like there's not really much to really to say on it. You know what I mean? It's like people are complaining and stuff, but it's just like, well, don't get Antonio Conte as your manager then. Don't get Antonio Conte as your manager. It's no point.
To elaborate though, Alex, like I think maybe what Conte probably is kind of trying to allude to here is that I do know what type of defender he is kind of, talking about. Like we even have seen them in the World Cup we've seen them, even like Ben Mee would be like a good example, I think, or like you in the Premier League, like those guys that like backs to the wall, they are almost like imperious. They seem to really do well when they're kind of doing backs to the wall defending, right, Alex? They don't lose their head. They don't seem to kind of, start to freak out, or they don't look like they're in the trenches like Dyer and Davies do when put under pressure. They seem to almost kind of thrive actually when being put under pressure. And that's what he even referenced right there, was that guys, when their backs are to the wall under pressure, they seem to thrive in those situations. And he's just saying that there are a lot of players in the squad that simply don't. We even saw like Romero, like you said, in the World Cup. He played alongside somebody who used to be epic at that. Otamendi, plays for Benfica, one of those dogged, kind of Portuguese teams. Those Portuguese teams in the Champions League, they'll be happy to go like with 20% possession, in a game and, be defending the whole entire time. So I think that's all he's referring to. It's just a huge mentality thing with a lot of these players. And which players I'm referring to. There are those guys that seem to get like a little bit, they like snarl, Dave. They like snarl. They, they lash out. They're kind of like what Paul said. They'll bite your dick off, in case of need be. Those kind of guys are, I know what Conte is referring to. Those type of defenders do exist, and we don't have enough of them. It's true.
With Dion Davis, it's Dion Davis. It's Dion Davis and Sanchez. Those are the players that I don't know whether he's referring to those players, but we can make assumptions from what we can be between the lines. That's what we're trying to say at the moment. Yeah. We can be between the lines. You know what I mean? Because I've even got people in the chat, and I'm not trying to pick them out, but the people in the chat that are saying to me, well, you don't know what you're talking about because he said he wanted 3 years. Well, we all know. I mean, you can talk to other fans of other clubs, and they'll say to you, you're deluded by thinking that because Conte wants to win now. He never has changed. He's not going to change because he's come to Tottenham Hotspur. You know what I mean? He's already said he knows what type of club it is already. And you know what he's meaning by that. You know what I mean? It's going to take too long for him at the moment, and that's it. The fact is, if we were backing him right now, we should have got him a defender in the summer, like a Skriniar, De Vrij. They could have done that in January. They didn't do that. You know what I mean? The time it taken to get Poro in the door just showed me even more that they weren't backing him as well. You know what I mean? They didn't get the right wing back in the summer when it was an achievement to get top 4. You know what I mean? So there's not really much to say. And I know people are going to carry on arguing with me, but when Savas agreeing with me, what do I need to say? Don't need to say anymore. Exactly. And I'm with Henry Wright, which I didn't even watch him. You know what I mean? I didn't even watch him. I'm saying the same thing. I was getting abuse. I was getting dog abuse. Don't need to say anymore. Back to you, David. And I agree with David as well, because I've said he was banging on about Dyer how many times? And I had to say to him, I'm sorry, David, you're absolutely spot on, because I saw him first time I went in the stadium. Bang average. Done. Don't need to say anymore. David, back to you.
Quickly, Eamon Burns, the away goals rule is scrap, my man. So you're absolutely spot on there, brother. Look, when it comes to what Conte said about the mentality, look, this is a problem that's been at this club for quite some time. And I'm surprised to see that we're still sitting here, 4, 5, 6 years later, Conte's still sort of alluding to the same thing. And look, for me, that mentality is not going to change until you just get the ultimate serial losers out of this club. And I'm talking about the back line. Again, players, even the players that have gone out on loan, like Sven Dombele or Winks, they all need to be shipped out permanently. And the reason why I say it, especially on Davies and Dyer, is because they have pull inside the club. They have the boardroom's ears. Davies was tasked to go up and speak on the players' behalf about Nuno to get him sacked to Daniel Levy. And ultimately, if they have that sort of power, they have a big grip around the dressing room. They have, a big sway and a big saying in around the dressing room, I would presume. Especially, look, you can see it in the documentary, Dyer telling Dele Alli to call out names, put a name on your criticism. Okay, Dyer, well, I'm putting your name on the criticism, so fucking stand up and respond to it then. And it's kind of like, it is a mentality problem. Half the squad want to win, and then the other half don't really give a shit what happens on the weekend. They're too comfortable. And then when you see them out there smiling and laughing and joking, yes, in a training video, first of all, shit PR by the club to put that out, knowing every fan is pissed off. But who's leading that fucking group? I'll tell you now, if I was in that dressing room, and if Roy Keane was one of my favourite ever Ireland players in that dressing room, if anyone was laughing or joking around, they'd be punched. They'd be punched up. He'd say, look, we lost 4-1 to Leicester. It's one of the worst performances I've ever seen in a Tottenham jersey. No effort, no running on or off the ball, no desire, no passion, no hunger to win. You want to laugh? Go fucking change, go home and laugh with missus over a fucking comedy movie. You know, we're here to train, we're here to improve, and we're here to put things right and move forward. But, you know, so for me, the mentality does have to change. And in order for that to happen, you've got to get some of these absolute serial losers like Dyer, who heads the ball into Mo Salah's path, like Ben Davies, who passes the ball into midfield into danger under no pressure whatsoever. Sanchez, who look, most of the time looks like he's auditioning for fucking Dancing on Ice. Same as Tanganga, slipping and sliding everywhere. Can't even get the right studs to wear. You know what I mean? It's a huge problem. And for me, that mentality just has to change, and they've got to go. I said this actually a few weeks ago, Jack. Remember, I was about to make a big long video. I had it all in there. I decided to scrap it because it was a couple of days late after a result. But at the end of the day, they've got to go, in my opinion. I don't know whether people agree or disagree, but we've got Scooter Reacts, new member as well. Big yourself up, brother. Really appreciate that, my man. Absolute legend. And
grab the fan show membership as well, Scooter. Love to see that, my man. Come on and have your say for the next one. Big up.
Yeah, hopefully we see you on the fan shows. And look, I want to speak to as many Spurs fans as we can on these fan shows. That's what it's all about. You know, this is why I got into the YouTube game, is to speak to Spurs fans, to hear what they have to say and stuff like that. So please, everyone, you know, feel free to grab that membership. It's only $4.99 a month. Get yourself onto these fan shows. We usually do one after every game. There won't be one tonight, aka Valentine's night, and you know the rest. You know where I have to go after that, straight into the bedroom, handcuffed and all. But look, you know, so there won't be one tonight, but we do them after every game and every Monday and Friday. But I am serious about the mentality change. It's got to fucking change 100%. But big up Scooter Reacts. Now, look, we are going to start maybe getting into talking a bit about the team. We've got about half an hour, maybe a bit more than that left. So, Jack, I'm going to throw one at you and then throw another one at Alex. So, Jack, I'll start with you because you're a big Fraser Forrester fan. And look, you rightfully so, I believe, that you called for Fraser Forrester to come in for Hugo Lloris, but with Hugo's injuries in there. But he was criticised for some of the efforts to, against Leicester, maybe saying that he should have saved them. He's played in Champions League matches before with Celtic. Do you have confidence in the big man, or are you worried about the Leicester result and him maybe not getting down to some of these shots?
Not worried one little moment, Dave. Didn't even lose a wink of sleep, you know, over the Leicester performance from Fraser Forster whatsoever. It's just really, Dave, for me, I don't even need to be a big fan of Fraser Forster at all, really. It's just that I think Hugo this season, if people have already really have maybe quickly forgotten how much he has set us back this season, how much he has hurt us. He's parried 2 goals into his own net in 2 separate North London derbies. He's let in a variety of near post shots, I think, this season that have also been plenty of savable. And I know Fraser Forster would have saved because, Dave, he wouldn't have to get down to it. He wouldn't even have to get down to the ground. All he need to do is just save it with his 2 hands right there. We also saw even in the North London derby too, Odegaard had that effort from distance that basically like trickled into the back of the net. So it's kind of when it comes to saving ability, Dave, probably Hugo might still be better than Fraser Forster when it comes to saving ability. But let's not act like Hugo's really made a good case for himself at all this season. Let's not act like he's, you know, maybe had some sort of season that would, you know, have him, you know, have his, you know, chest out and, you know, his shoulders above Fraser Forster. In fact, he should be, you know, a completely shy of confidence. He should have no confidence whatsoever. And that's probably why I even asked for Fraser Forster to come in the first place, because we even saw, what was it, Hugo's face in one of those games, Dave, where he looked absolutely shell-shocked before he walked into the North London derby. He's not even acting like much of a captain even anymore. So for me, Dave, like, I don't even need to be a big fan of Fraser Forster. The bar for goalkeeping has been set so low this season. The bar for a standard goalkeeper for Spurs has been set so low that I'm like backing anybody, like anybody that can make a basic save, anybody that doesn't kick it out at any opportunity, anybody that, you know, allows our team to calm down for a second and not get it launched to Harry Kane with no support around him when we're also under a lot of pressure. Those sort of kind of basic mistakes that Hugo continues to make, I'll be happy if we have someone else there who doesn't make those mistakes. That's really what it is. Hugo's been making the most basics of mistakes this season, continuously, game after game. And I'm just kind of gotten tired of it. Even if Fraser Forster were to make the same mistakes, I wouldn't really care because the bar has been set so low at this moment in time that I just think even basic saves, Dave, we're like celebrating now. So I really am not losing any winks of sleep over Fraser Forster at the moment. Not worried at all, not questioning it at all. Don't really care whatsoever. He'll do just fine.
100%. 100%. Look, for me, it can't be any worse than what Hugo has done at the end of the day, single-handedly. I actually think him and Dyer, I think, are the two top in the most errors leading to goals across the Premier League this season. So for me, look, with Hugo, he has looked shell-shocked. Maybe you would say he's resigned to his career coming to an end. The World Cup final was probably his last big hurrah. What's his mentality like? Has he checked out?
Like Romero, though, like these are things like you didn't see Romero when Romero like heads it back to Fraser Forster tonight, just to get it back to the keeper. Like Hugo, remember, dropped that and let it go back into his own net. Like also as well, like the near post efforts, Dave, the variety of near post goals that have gone in this season that Hugo has just let slip under his arm or, just kind of parried into his own net and, things like that. Like he even had probably single-handedly some of the worst own goals this season. Like Fraser Forster didn't even have an own goal. Like Hugo's had like 2 own goals or something like that this season, or should have at least 2 own goals this season. So I don't know. Like it's going to take a lot for Fraser Forster to do worse. It's going to take a lot.
Yeah, a hell of a lot for sure. Alex, Ben Davies made a huge error leading to Leicester's second goal at the weekend. Does he deserve to keep his place, or would you bring Lenglet back in and make a statement?
I'll bring Lenglet back in. I think the problem is, I think they're both bad as each other as far as I'm concerned. That's the problem.
Do you think so? Do you not think Lenglet is probably better on the ball and maybe
he's better on the ball? I would give him that, but I don't. He's just a meh player. You know what I mean? He's not like, oh yeah, I'm really great. He's really good. It's like, meh. Okay, cool. I agree with Jack. I mean, I think Lloris has been great, but I think the problem is, he's been terrible recently, but he's been great for us. He saved us a lot of the time previously.
Yeah,
that's the opposite word. Previously,
last
year. Exactly. But right now, when I look at it now, I've looked at it like this: Forrester, this is an opportunity for him to make his claim. Yeah. That's what I look at it. I still think we needed a better goalkeeper, though.
Or even Alex, this is how I put it. Like, if you had never heard of Hugo Lloris, like you had just started watching football, even like just started this year, and you watch Hugo Lloris this season, you would think he's one of the worst keepers in the Premier League without like knowing, what he had done previously.
He's absolutely awful.
But even the saves he hasn't been able to make, some of the saves that he's missed and things like that this season, you would just say, if you had never heard of him, you would think he's one of the worst keepers in the Prem. You would.
Well, this is where we should have got a adamant second choice that could compete with him. I for me, I mean, I don't need, because the transfer window's gone now. But
Alex, we should have done what Hugo Lloris told Spurs Play in an interview. What was going to happen in the first place? He signs a new contract. They bring in. He helps identify his replacement, and he works with him. We haven't done it.
Well, if he said that to him,
he did.
I mean, if you're saying that he said that to him. I mean, that just shows you why we don't plan. We don't plan at all. I was a bit confused about the signing of Forrester in the first place. I've got to be honest. I thought we were going to go for another keeper. I would have gone for Henderson. All day long. He's homegrown. And
I'll be honest though, Alex. I think Henderson has a bit of an ego. I think he left United because he backed himself for being number one, and now he finds himself replaced by Keylor Navas at Nottingham Forest. I think people are copping off very quick to his ego.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he likes waving the hat around as well. He enjoys a nice, I mean,
I like him. I did like him. I mean, I didn't see. I mean, I haven't really concentrated on the Nottingham Forest situation. There was Nick Pope as well from Newcastle, but I mean, he's gone Newcastle now. That's gone and done now. I know there's the Brentford goalkeeper, but I haven't seen him enough to really give my opinion on him. You know what I mean? But I think we should. If again, it shows again, David, about planning.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We don't have an identity, and we haven't planned. And I've said it already. We chase success. Yeah, we're chasing success when we don't need to be doing that. We should be doing what Brighton are doing, which is embarrassing for me. You know what I mean? But again, it just shows you about planning, because I mean, we shouldn't be in this position. You know what I mean? A club would have sorted out the identity of that person that's going to replace Lloris. Would have done that a long time ago. If you don't believe in Forrester, why did you buy him in the first place?
Do you know what the problem is, though, Alex? Look, I'm presuming they're probably going to look at the keeper as being a homegrown because we need to get that quota up so we can shift some of the shit homegrown players we've got out. I presume, looking at centre back, probably one of them will have to be homegrown as well. And we all know that comes with a tax, with a premium on it. And I think they've trying to save the biggest spend until this summer, or try and save on the biggest spend, thinking they'll get away with it and keep kicking the can down the road. But in reality, we had so much to do. It's kind of like no matter where we started and where we finished, we were always going to be left with, oh, well, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? That's how much of a mess we actually got ourselves into. Just on Langley quickly, and then I'm going to move on maybe to the midfield because it's a big talking point tonight. I would actually argue that if Langley played at the weekend, that second goal doesn't happen. Because he wouldn't have made that pass, or if he did, he would have.
Yeah, that's true. He wouldn't have made
player
that
in a Spurs jersey. So for me, I would actually be making a statement. I would be saying, look, Davies, you just don't do that. I mean, you literally abandoned what you've been taught as a kid. So I'm going to leave you sit on the bench and think about that, right? I don't want to hear you cry. Don't want to hear you moan. I want to leave you on the bench sitting there thinking about that. Langley straight back in. That's what I would be doing if you want me to be brutally honest. But look, let's move into the midfield. Big up Sean Brown, watching from sunny Tenerife. You lucky boy. I am jealous, I'm not going to lie. Looks like it's going to piss rain here, so enjoy that weather, my man. Big up DB as well. Good to see you in the house. And Darren Ferrin as well. Good to see you in the building. So look, I think, Romero obviously comes back into the side. And the other, who shall not be named, he'll probably start at centre-back as well. But look, we'll go into right wing-back just quickly. I'll give this one to you, Jack, and then I'll go throw one at Alex in the midfield. Emerson has been proven to be a reliable defender in the big matches, but Pedro Porro has been a big player for Sporting in the retrospective Champions League games and actually has more experience in the competition than what Emerson does. Who would you go for at right wing-back today, and why do you think Conte will trust who do you think Conte will trust to start tonight?
I think he'll trust Big Mo to do it, Dave. But here's the thing, actually, with Pedro Porro. Like, it is a good thing that you brought up there, right? Where maybe this would be a game if you were to you would have considered maybe Pedro Porro more for this game than I think you would the Leicester City game, actually, because he has had a lot of experience in Champions League games. He's played in round of 16 matches before with the likes of Sporting, where Emerson hasn't. Like, Emerson actually has, I think, a lot fewer minutes actually under his belt in the Champions League in these big occasion, tactical games. And also, right, Dave, like, the Premier League is a different type of pace. It's a different type of physicality and, style. Whereas like the Champions League, it's like a mix of styles. It's also very technical, very tactical between the two sides. So Emerson, I think, is going to be a great shout, but you could make a case, I think, for Pedro Porro today, just because of his experience in these sort of games. And we all know too, like, he has that delivery that we could rely upon, especially if we did need goals. But I'm going to go with Emerson tonight, Dave, just because I think that left-hand side for AC Milan is by far their strongest. They have Teo Hernandez and then Rafael Leao going down that left-hand side. And I think Pedro Porro on his own would kind of struggle. I think you need someone like Emerson and Romero, two combative defenders, to be able to handle those two, because the majority of AC Milan's creativity is going to be coming from Leao and it's going to come from Hernandez. And Hernandez as well is like one of the best wing backs in the world, going forward. So I think you put Mo in for sure.
I'd agree with that. I think you start with Emerson. If you need to go and chase a game, you bring on Porro, in my opinion. I think, look, that's probably why Emerson was probably rested at the weekend, in my opinion. So I think you're spot on there. Just quickly, we are 8 away from reaching 9K. Let's see if we can make that happen over the next 20, 25 minutes. Create an account for your goldfish, for your dog, for your bed sheets, for your fridge or microwave. I do not care. Make sure you get an account going, smash that subscribe button, or even just share it to your family. Just tell your granny how great myself and Jack are. Tell her she doesn't need to worry about it, and just smash the subscribe button on her account. It does not matter. Just get it done. But Alex, Højbjerg is suspended for this match. Bentancur is out for the season. Basuma is out for at least a month or two. Spurs face a difficult challenge with 3 first-choice midfielders being out for this match. What solutions do you have today? Would you play Dyer in midfield, or do you trust Skip and Sarr to do it on their own as a two?
I'll do this. I'll play, you've got Sarr and Skip, and then you play Kulu in the middle, I think. I think that might be a solution. Yeah, or you could play Mora in the middle and then play Kulu as a wing back, maybe. But I think it might be the other way around, really, maybe. Or I would say I wouldn't agree with Jack. I wouldn't put I don't rate him at all. I'm sorry. I'm not having it with him. I'm sorry. Emerson, if you want to play him as a right centre back. He's a great defender. He's a great defender. Yeah, cool. Yeah, but as a wing back, I'm sorry, he's useless, absolutely useless. And then you got Perisic on the left trying to get down the wing as well, so he's going to be struggling defensively as well. So for me, I think for me, because if you're going to focus on wing backs, you need two strong wing backs. Yeah, so I think you got to play more on the right, Perisic on the left, and then you've got the three in midfield. So you've got Kulu in the middle. You've got was it Sarr and Skip, and then it depends on who you want up front. I think with Son at the moment, it's not playing well at the moment. You've got to play Harry Kane, because if you don't play Harry Kane, we're not going to win. Yeah. So Harry Kane, I'm torn between Danjuma and Richarlison. I don't think Richarlison's playing very well at all. I'm sorry, he's bang average for us. So I put Danjuma there for me,
yeah.
Or put him on the left of a wing, and then you put Richarlison there as well. So that's your team, I think, and that's it. Yeah, and I think that's
Alex coming up with the solutions. Absolutely love it. People have been asking for solutions to the problems, and Alex has come up with one. Get in the comments.
Is just me. This is just me from what I've seen. I'm not a tactical genius. I'm only going to go on what I feel is right. But as I said, I only can go on what I feel. And at the end of the day, when I look at what I see at the moment, that's the solution. But I am not the manager. I don't know. I'm not the best at it. That's why Antonio Conte.
Look, at the end of the day, we ask for solutions and you're giving them, my man. So everybody in the comments, let us know. Would you agree with what Alex has to say there in the solutions? Brandon Troller, good to see you, sir. I hope you are keeping well. Absolutely love this guy. Always smiling, no matter what, whether it's bad result, good result, always got a smile on his face and never, ever lose that, my man. It's a great team to have. He says, afternoon, fellas. Sar masterclass incoming. Come on, you Spurs. Sar Torre, the star man, the Sar man, whatever you want to call him. This guy, I like him. I like him. For me, with Bentancur, you're losing that press-resistant player, the guy that pulls the strings, that calming influence in the midfield. And the other one that I've really seen, and we've only seen it in glimpses because of the amount of game time he's been given, is Sar. When you look at the Palace game, for instance, I use that as an example because Skip and Sar both played. Skip was erratic, nervous, crap on the ball. Same as against Bournemouth going forward. Absolutely clueless in the forward areas. Sar came on against Palace, got the ball, just calmed it down a little bit. Pick it up, move it left, pick it up again, move it right, pick it up, move it forward. I really like what Sar is about. So hopefully he can sort of bring an element of what we're going to be missing with Bentancur out, because make no mistake about it, Bentancur is a huge loss. I think he was missing for 5 games after World Cup. And look how Tottenham fared in them 5 games. Not great results. And it's a clear indicator of what we miss. We do miss that calming presence in the midfield that he has. Hopefully, Sar can bring that. But, Jack, would you be worried about Skip and Sar in midfield? Because, look, in Conte's press conference, he more or less alluded to, I don't have time to think about Dyer playing in centre midfield, which means he's fucking useless. I'm not going to play him in there. Are you confident with Sar and Skip? And is it a day where, sometimes as a youngster, you may be 4th or 5th in line, but injuries happen. You're given a chance, and it could make or break them, Jacko. It's time for maybe one of them to shine.
It's kind of how it works, Dave. I think we all are under the pretense, or sometimes have the idea that like these young kids become stars by just being given like continuous game time over a span of time. I think that's the case if you end up playing for a club like a Brighton or a Brentford, or you're in the Bundesliga somewhere, and right, you don't have a whole lot of competition. But if you're a young talent and you have the players of Harry Kane, Bentancur, Kulusevski ahead of you, Sonny ahead of you, and you're a young kid, Dave, I mean, you're not going to get too many opportunities, let's be honest. Yeah. And so when you do get your opportunities, it's kind of up for you to take them. And it's kind of where superstars are born. It's where these talents kind of get, their name made of, because Papa Montessar had a lot of hype around him when we first bought him. I think a lot of Spurs fans still have a lot of confidence in him. Skippy had a lot of hype around him when coming back from Norwich and, his terrific championship campaign. And it's kind of maybe dwindled a little bit with Skippy, but with Sarr, we haven't seen a whole lot of him either. So it's just kind of like, these are the moments where it's kind of up to them really to step up and take advantage of the opportunity that's being given to them. I'll be honest, it definitely is like being thrown into the deep end. It is like being, thrown into a tough situation. It's not easy, but it also is a great way to kind of make a name for yourself. And it's a great way also to show people, why the hype was there in the first place. And so, do I have a lot of confidence in them, Dave? Somewhat. Like, I have confidence that they could actually do it. What I'm more really just worried about, it's not really their skill levels or anything, Dave. I'm just more worried about the fact that they haven't played together too often. Like, they've always played with like Højbjerg, or they've always played with Bentancur there, or a Basuma there or something. I'm not sure how many times Papa Montessar, even in training, have like played together, just those two. For a whole 90 minutes. That's where I'm actually a bit more worried. But this is where stars are born, Dave. These type of situations.
Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. If I was a young lad, and I wanted to make my way into the game, sometimes you just got to be patient, and then you've got to back yourself, believe in yourself, and go out there and showcase your abilities. And tonight is a night where one of them can really make a name for themselves, or really turn around to Tottenham fans and say, don't give up on me. I belong here. And I can be your guy going forward. And this is the thing. You got a lot of young players moaning, crying about not getting chances. But on the flip side, you've also got to take them when they're given to you. So tonight's a chance, and even for other players around them who maybe might not have as much faith in a Sarr or a Skip, or don't want to give them the ball as often. They can also build a bit of rapport and trust with those around them as well. So it's a big night for these two in the midfield. And look, with Ollie Skip, I think, we had a conversation with Seth, Alex and Sava last week about we're not sure he's going to make it, and for me, I think he probably needs another loan, but he's found himself fortunate that he's probably going to get a run of games now. And, it's a big chance for him to prove to Spurs fans as well that, look, don't give up on me. My injuries have affected me, but I'm back now, and I want to do all I can to play for this football club. So it's a huge night for the two of them. And, look, I really hope they can stand up and be counted tonight, because we really need them. We really need them. And it's about time. Look, Skip is 22. He's not going to have too many opportunities left. So he has to take them. Starboy, a.k.a. Starboy, he's only, 19, 20, so he's still got a few opportunities, but he's one that Conte really likes. So hopefully he can go out there and put in the performance. Moondog says Kane up top, Richie on the left, Kulu on the right. Look, for me on this, Moondog, my problem is with Richie, right? I wanted him brought in here as a backup striker to Harry Kane, so that when the FA Cup, League Cup games come around, you rest Harry Kane, you play Richie. And that's where his best position is up front. You go back to look to what he was best at Everton last year. Getting the ball out wide, knocking the box, let him go and attack it. He got his 2 goals from that this season, being in the centre, being in the box, going and attacking the ball against Marseille. For me, he's not a winger. Anytime the ball comes to him, whether he's on the left or the right, it's a heavy touch. The ball's bouncing off him, this, that, and the other. I just don't like him on the wing. I really don't. I don't think it's where we should be playing him. But at the same stage, guys, a lot of people are really starting to get fed up with Son. Those who did have patience with Son, it is very, very quickly starting to wane. So is there a call that Son should be dropped tonight then, lads? Or is it too big of a game to do it?
I think he does need to get dropped. Listen, I'm not having to go at Son because it's the time to have a go at Son. I'm just saying at the moment it looks like a guy that just needs to move on from the club for a bit. It needs to move on from the club. You know what I mean?
Do you think he'll be gone this summer, Alex? Do you think there's potential that they're looking to move out him and his father?
It depends. Unfortunately, he signed a contract, hasn't he? Well, positive for us, but at the same time for him, I do question his ambition a little bit, because at the end of the day, he should really go to a club that can win him trophies. You know what I mean? Even his nation's telling him that. You know what I mean? And we're not hiding away from that. That's the fact. You know what I mean? They have told him that. His father's telling him that. I think that's his agent, isn't it? So yeah. I mean, I think he should be dropped. Yes. I think he should be dropped. I don't think he's been playing well at all this season, to be honest with you. I think the Leicester game, and I was there at Leicester, it was a perfect time for him to come against Leicester. Absolutely perfect time. And then he scored those goals, which are fantastic finishes. I have to say that. Absolutely fantastic finishes. Again, Preston. It was only against Preston. You know what I mean? He wasn't back. You know what I mean? You know, I've got nothing against him, but at the end of the day, I mean, he isn't, I don't think he is that class player that people are saying at the end of the day. Because again, has he won any trophies at Tottenham? No. You know, he hasn't been the difference for us to win trophies like Kane as well. So for me, I think Dan Juma should play. I think Richarlison might need a chance as well. I think he needs a chance as well to make his claim. But again, Richarlison needs to step up. You know, because at the moment, I think when you look at the deals that were on the table in the summer, I said, Arsenal got the reject from Manchester City. Well, let's be honest here. Jesus has done a big impact, made a bigger impact at Arsenal than Richarlison at Tottenham. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? Really, you know. But I think the ultimate answer to answer your question, Son needs to be dropped. Yes.
Interesting. Jacko, do you see that happening today? Are you along with Alex that maybe not drop, but would you like to see maybe something different just for a game or two and see if it changes anything?
I mean, listen, it needed to happen plenty of other games, before. Like he's had times, I think, to be dropped. He's had times to be rotated, Sonny, and he simply wasn't when he probably should have been. And where I find it a bit tricky, Dave, is like I think recently he's looked slightly better than the worst version of himself that we saw earlier in the season. Like he's looked a lot better than I think what he did in the beginning of the season. That being said, though, those were kind of the games when he should have been dropped. And those are the games when he should have been rotated a bit more. And so now we go into this Champions League game away from home in the San Siro. You need to be full of confidence. I think you do need to really back yourself. You need to be confident in your game. You need to be confident in your abilities. And is Sonny really confident in his abilities right now? Is he fully confident in himself to be able to deliver for us tonight? I'm not exactly sure. And I don't think that's, he's human at the end of the day, Dave, and he's out of form. And I don't blame him for maybe not being full of confidence at this moment. So I'd actually go for someone like Dan Juma. If we were to do 3-4-3, I'd go Dan Juma on the left just because he looks a lot more comfortable than Richie does as a winger. He looks a lot more like a conventional winger kind of anyway. He looks like he knows what he's doing out there, kind of has a bit more comfort in those one-on-one situations. So I'd go with Big Danjo, Dave. I think he might be the guy to go for. But like I said before, it feels like Sonny, like there were other opportunities previous in the season, to have dropped him. And now it just feels like it's always a little too late, or maybe it could have just been done other times. But I'd go for Dan Juma, Kulusevski, Kane if we were 3-4-3.
Interesting. Look, for me, I can understand the cost to drop Sonny. Personally, I don't think he will be dropped. I think he'll be rolled out there again tonight. I think Conte, believes in his world-class ability and he wants to try and play him through that form, because when you drop him, it becomes a lot of noise, a lot of paper talk. Maybe Son, maybe reads into it, this, that, and the other. I think Conte probably will persist with him, but I do understand people may be calling for something a little bit different. Like Moondog here, he says, Richarlison is better than Son. He's dead wood at the minute. And look, I definitely take that argument. Moondog, I definitely hear that, my man, to be honest with you. Look, like I said, I'm not going to shut down the arguments of calling for Son to be dropped. Me personally, I just prefer to stick with a Kane or a Son when they are out of form and try and play their way into form, because I go by the old saying, form is temporary, class is permanent. Now, look, this form is testing my patience. It's gone on a bit too long, but the world-class ability is there. And look, Son also loves Champions League. He really, helped us get to that final in 2019 under Pochettino. So I do believe probably Conte will start him tonight.
Has he looked better at home? I think he's also looked maybe better playing at home than he has also away from home this season. I know we're not talking like, there's that too. Like if he's playing away from home and he's not as confident, maybe go with somebody that's a bit more confident. He's looked more confident at home from what I've seen.
I have to be honest with you, Jack. I don't think he's been that great.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I agree with that.
I've been to every home game this season, and I don't think he's been that great. I think the game again, like I said, Leicester City game, I think, like I said, it was a perfect time for him to come on because they left the space for him to just run on,
Yeah.
do those runs that he needs to do, and that's it. But as I said before, the finishes are absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? Because those are not easy finishes. You know what I mean? And even the Preston one was not an easy finish. You know what I mean? I think we went over the top about Crystal Palace, though. I've got to be honest, because he got lucky with that one. But at the same time, I think it's just a player at the moment that is. I think the injury that he had, he struggled with as well. But I think it's a player that just looks like someone that just needs to move on. For me, I think it just looks like
I hear a lot of that arguments. Actually, maybe he's just maybe that hunger for the game or the appetite for the game at Tottenham isn't there, and he just maybe needs fresh surroundings. Alex.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the thing. I don't like saying it, but when you've been at the club for so long and not achieved anything, you know what I mean? I know individually he's achieved something. He's achieved, with like Harry Kane recently, what he's done already. But when you've not won anything, it does grind you down. You know what I mean? And then this is why I think for me, that's why I think he needs to move on for me anyway. If it doesn't happen this season, you know what I mean, with Antonio Conte, that's the thing.
That's fair enough.
Because I think he needs something to just say, okay, this is what I've achieved now. You know what I mean? A trophy. You know what I mean? I think that's what's missing at the moment. I think that's when you'll start seeing something grow a little bit as well.
And plus, the whole of his nation are aiming at him. Park from Man United. He won trophies. What his son won, even though he's a better player. There's all that weighing on his mind for sure. Because Bob says, "What time's the lineup out? Hour before kickoff, my man. Every game, all game. Champions League one sometimes comes out a little bit early. To be fair, from my experience, but usually is an hour before kickoff." And Amy Carcatera says, "Good afternoon from USA. Too bad about the ACL injury from Benticor. Whereabouts from the USA? Great Jackal here is from New York. Anywhere close, but big up, Amy. Good to have you on board. And hopefully you're having a good day, my dear. Big yourself up. We've got Tango Bin, as she said, no, Sun can't be dropped. Sun drives revenues, thinks over the income statement, bruv. Beyond 72 says, there's no point having a Sonny and not playing him. Fair point. Who else have we got here? Itchy down below says, don't worry, guys. Dyer won't start tonight. Let's not forget it's Valentine's Day. He's probably noshing off Levy somewhere. Look, that's what's on your mind today, my man. David Delgado says, I'd go for Langley, Sanchez, and Romero. There are three centre-backs. I don't understand why we're always playing two full-backs as centre-back. Is a back three. And honestly, if they lack confidence, it's down to fans. Look, if the players lack confidence, it's not down on fans, it's down on themselves, completely on themselves. I shouldn't have to sit there with a big I Love Eric Dyer placard with a Dyer jersey on, full kit, screaming at him with a megaphone from the stands going, come on, Dyer, I love you, you can do this. The confidence is on them. It's up to them to build up their own confidence. But look, the problem with the back line is you've got Dyer, failed centre midfielder, moved to centre back. Davies failed left back, moved into left side of centre back. They're not even natural defenders in that position, and this is the problem we have. But big up, David. But look, guys, I think we're going to end off, so I just want to go around and get everyone's score predictions. We've got this from Moondog. He says, could put Sanchez up front. That'll dazzle them. Look, Jack's argued the case that Sanchez is better up front than he is in goals. I mean, you look at some of the balls that's went into the box. He gets up there for the headers. He's even had one or two shots, which were actually decent enough, to be fair to the guy up front. So Jack also makes that argument that, just play Sanchez up front. Then take centre-back off him and just move him up front. Look,
never supposed to be a center-back, Moondog. He was never supposed to be. Someone, gave him the wrong position. Someone coached him. They should have let him be a striker. He looks so much more comfortable on the opposite side of the pitch than he does on his own side of the pitch. He really does.
Look, I'll be honest, I just want these losers, wasters, waste of space, waste my time, waste my energy. I just want them all gone. I don't rate them, never have done. And the quicker they move on, the better I think it is for everybody. But look, Alex, we've got your channel plugged in here, my man. So why don't you tell what's coming up, but also give us your score prediction, brother.
Firstly, my score prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Milan. And that will give us an opportunity to go back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and compete. So, I think that's going to happen tonight. But I mean, yeah, it's either going to be 2-1 or 1-1 for me, I think. So yeah, and yeah, that's it really, and hopefully it's a good night under the lights and stuff, and then see what happens. In terms of, you know how it goes with me every single time, David. You know what I mean? Because I banter you every single time. I can banter other people on the channel, and people want to get me cancelled and everything else. But unfortunately, it never happens because it's only one. Because it's if you don't know, get to know this. It's at its THFC, and at its THFC had to refresh, reset, and restart. And when I mean we start looking at different things, different ways of doing things, different content. And the first thing was Mr. Box Office Unleashed. I've just given you a debut of it, the premiere episode 1, where I unleashed on my thoughts on what is it, Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk's performance, and the people said that we're in a title race, really. Anyway, moving on, and also another series of episodes that is going to come soon: the good, the bad, and the bang average top 5. So if you really want to know that, come on my channel and click on that, and that's it. And as I said before, if you don't know, get to know this, and that's it. And back to David to dig a hole for himself, like always.
No, look, honestly, Thursday we're bringing up this Harry Kane debate about you calling Kane a serial loser. That I can't have. I'm going to absolutely banter you out the door. I'm going to flip the roles there, Alex. And Jack's back hosting this week, so I'll be able to have more of a say and challenge you more, which should be fun. But everybody, look, Alex, he's an absolute tremendous guy, really good guy, always has a smile on his face. Very entertaining as well. I probably shouldn't have said that because it's going to blow up his ego and his big head. But look, everybody, please get over there and smash that subscribe button. At the end of the day, whether you agree, disagree, you've got to know, so get to know. Smash that subscribe button. He's a Spurs fan at the end of the day, and I believe all Spurs fans, because there's so many viewers compared to like Liverpool, Arsenal, United, Chelsea, whatever. Everyone should get the support. So please get over there and smash that subscribe button. Jacko, you put the membership link in there. And what's your score prediction, my man?
I'm going to go for a Desmond tonight, Dave. Two bad defenses, going after each other. I would happily take a 2-2. I could see this being a very stressful game for us. So maybe a stressful game could be a 2-2 day. Perhaps we go 2-0 up, concede 2 goals in the second half. We go 2-0 down, manifest some sort of comeback. It could be any type of way. That's how the Desmond can be. So I'm just going to go for that 2-2.
Interesting. First time I've ever heard you predict the draw, Jacko. First time ever. Look, you know me. I'm a sucker. You can keep punching me in the face and I'll roll out for another one the next day. I'm going to go with a Tottenham win. I'll be honest, I woke up with that, a good feeling. And look, I believe Tottenham are at their best when the backs are against the wall and everyone's wrote us off. Last season we had 13 players in the run of the season. Everyone said, no way we're making top 4. But somehow we galvanized together and been able to get the job done. Do you know what? I think Antonio Conte will want to make a statement at the San Siro as well tonight. For me, I'm going to go with Tottenham. Do you know what? I'm going to go 3-1 Tottenham, and I'll tell you why. They have a Romanian guy in goals, right? He's their 4th choice goalkeeper. They've conceded 19 goals over 7 games, I believe it is. They're in dismal form across that back line as well, even probably as bad as us. But I believe we've got better forward players than what they do, and I think that's why we'll probably score more. Plus, their keeper, I think it was November, had to go for an eye surgery. So, he's got eye problems as well. So for me, I'll be testing that fucker from all angles, to be honest. I'd even say to his star boy, crack one from halfway, see how good his vision is. So for me, I'm going to go 3-1 Tottenham. I'm hoping, and that prediction is based off, I don't think we can be as bad as we were against Leicester. I also believe Harry Kane will want to get some victories under his belt as captain. And I think he's going to do everything in his power tonight to make that happen. Look, Gareth Bale, wonderful members at the San Siro from that. Guerrero, Gattuso, and Joe Jordan headbutting each other. That was absolutely fantastic. So there's a lot riding on this game. And for me, I'm going to go with a Spurs win today. I'm feeling it today. I really do believe we'll bounce back. But there is the other argument that, look, Spurs don't usually do well midweek. I believe it was last season when we bet Man City in and around the same time. We lost to Burnley, then lost to Middlesbrough in the FA Cup after that again. So you could very well end up with a loss tonight, but it's only my score prediction. Don't shoot me down. Don't use it as a
I think overall we'll win. I think
Only-
overall we'll win. I think overall we'll win because it's AC Milan. I don't think if we had like a PSG, I'll be worried, very worried. And I think we'll get knocked out somewhere along the line because they'll be a decent team. But I think we've got enough in striking positions to win this overall. I just think the atmosphere is going to be a difficult one for me. So I think we can get out of this. I agree with Jack, 2-2 or a 2-1, like I said before, and then we go back to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then we can pummel them from there. But yeah, I think we can do it overall, definitely. I think that's what I believe in that. Yeah, definitely.
100%.
We should do. We should do.
We've got to. You know, every Spurs fan needs that bit of pep in their step. You know, at the minute. But everybody, like I said, Alex THFC, get over, check him out. If you don't know, get to know. Smash that subscribe button. A massive thank you for all your support today, tuning in on Valentine's Day. I'm not sure your missus are going to be too happy with all you guys or your husbands. But hey, hell, Spurs top the bill tonight, and that's what it's all about. So I really appreciate you guys on a day like today tuning in, showing us the support you have done. Really commendable. Really appreciate it. I'm going to leave everybody a little song here in the comments. A YouTube link. Click on it. Get over. Give it a listen to. It'll get you rightfully riled up. Maybe a bit emotional, sentimental about Tottenham Hotspur. So I'm going to leave that in here. So do check that out. I'm actually on a campaign about getting this guy to perform this song at the AC Milan home game before the teams come out. So everybody do give it a listen to. News flash, I'm not singing it. Don't worry about that. You don't have to enjoy that. But guys, we are out of here. Watch Along starts at 7:30. As always, hopefully we'll see you all there. Hopefully it's a good night for us all. I want a stress-free night, a good win. Hopefully that's what we get. Look, go and have your beers. Go and get a quick dinner into you. Get back for the game. As fucking always. Come on,
you Spurs.
In Conte we trust.
In Conte we trust. Come on, boys. Big day today.
Let's go.